Hello, everybody, and welcome to GameList for June 2022. It's June, right? Yeah. It's officially June 1st. We're recording this motherfucker on time. I'm Jake.
Yeah.
This is Kaulin. What's going on, dude?
Hello. I'm Kaulin.
Are you ready?
How are you today?
What the fuck? You're botching the intro, man.
No.
We got quite the show. We have up at the top of the show. I want everybody to know. So we're recording this one on June 1st. We're timely for once. We're doing this.
Yeah.
We're recapping May, everything we've been playing for new releases and otherwise. We'll be going over our list of games that we are, calling our game of the year so far, our games of the year so far. But we're right now talking to you the day before a big Sony presser and the kickoff of Summer Game Fest.
Yep.
Dancing on the grave of E3. Jeff Keighley, friend of the show, of course, is hosting Summer Games Fest, which begins tomorrow, but really a week from tomorrow in earnest for the main show. Then there's also a Xbox Bethesda presser a week from Monday. Essentially, this first half of June has a lot of stuff coming up. So what we're doing is we're going to be bringing you an extra episode of GameList this month. So right now, you're getting one today, June 1st. We'll be going over, this will be a standard GameList episode. We'll be talking about what's coming up in the month. But at the tail end of the show, we'll be doing some predictions for the next couple weeks, perhaps some bets that we'll make.
Yes.
So we'll be looking...
Bets.
We all love bets. So we'll be making those predictions at the end of the show, and then somewhere around the 15th, we'll be recapping everything that was announced. That'll be a special show where it's going to be kind of our mid-year special. We'll do one of these every year. We're already looking years ahead. What a world. What a world. So we'll get those going middle of every June. And at the same time that we recap all of the big news, we'll also really dig into our GOTY list so far. So that'll be a nice kind of a mid-year special.
Nice breakdown.
Without further ado, we'll hop in to the bread and butter of this show. Kaulin, what you been playing? Take your pick.
Oh, take my pick? I get to pick this time?
Yeah, whatever you like.
Probably what I've been playing most, at least, is GhostWire Tokyo.
GhostWire Tokyo. What a time to be alive.
Yeah,
so this is you're like what, a month late or so to the party on this? This was released in April?
Yeah,
March?
I actually don't even remember when it was released. March or April.
Pretty recent.
I'm a little late to it. I picked it up kind of like right on release, and then because of school, I was like, I should probably wait until the semester's over with.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it was right up my alley because it's like kind of horror influences, open world, checklist game. So I finally picked it up, played it on stream, played the entire campaign on stream, and I had a really good time with it. There are a ton of collectibles in this game, but honestly, they make it really easy to track them all down, which is nice.
Yeah, it's a stylish video game.
It's extremely stylish. It's kind of got like Naruto type hand movement combat. I don't really know. Yeah, you do like all the fancy hand movement things and then shoot guns out of your fingers pretty much.
My favorite.
And yeah, and it's a really interesting game. I couldn't tell you much about the story because I wasn't really focused on the story. I was just enjoying my time with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I definitely recommend if you're like a fan of Japanese mythology or just open world semi-horror games. It's a fun game. It's worth playing, and it's not very scary. There was only one jump scare in the entire game that got me.
I watched it. It was spectacular. It was spectacular to watch.
God, it was something.
More just like generally creepy, right? Is that kind of the vibe?
Yeah, it's got like a dark tone to it. I don't even know if I would call it creepy because it's very consistent throughout its entire playtime. So it kind of wears off after a while. You're not really creeped out by it after a couple hours because it doesn't do much to change up the formula throughout the game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just, it wears off, And
it's Tango Gameworks are the people
Tango
that made
Gameworks. Yes, they made the Evil Within series.
Yeah, have you played either of those?
Bethesda own. I have not, but I've watched them. Because those games came out in the time when I didn't have the current consoles.
Yeah.
so I watched them.
They seem to be
But
very popular. I know they're well regarded by fans.
yeah, and they're much more creepy than this game is. Like if you tried out the Evil Within, you're like, this is too much for me. I'm not gonna play Ghostwire. I would say go ahead and try out Ghostwire because it's nowhere near as creepy as the others. And the others were like survival horror. Not too different from Resident Evil. This is much more open world with a creepy open world.
Was this a full-priced game?
Yeah, it was.
You can get a mean thing to ask in 2022?
I don't think so. I guess it's what's your definition of full price anymore? Because some full price games are $70,
$60 or $70.
60. Yeah, it was $60 on release. You can get it now for like, I think it goes on 35 pretty often. See, I didn't even get it. It was on sale like a month after its release.
Yeah, for sure. As most games are.
Yeah, really, most games are, and I don't want it to be like, oh, it's not a good game because it's already on sale. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this. I spent 30 hours and I got the platinum on it the night before last. Nice. So
platinum game.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Pretty good. From creepy to actual horror, I made good on our bet. My first lost bet on GameList. Even though I only lost that bet by a tiny little bit.
Should also be known it's the first bet on GameList, so you have a negative record right now.
Yeah, but also, yeah, all right, I can't really refute that. I do. I'm 0-1. But I played Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 Remake. I played for almost 2 hours, I would say, on stream. And honestly, I had a fucking blast. Yeah. I had more fun playing the opening hours of Resident Evil 2 than I had playing Resident Evil 7 or 8. Resident Evil 7 or 8 scared the pants off of me. They were genuinely, like, terrifying jump scares in the opening hours of both of those games. Resident Evil 2 didn't have any deliberate, like, jump out at you jump scares. It had a couple moments where something, like, shifted or moved that got me to, jump or jerk just with the sound design. But the atmosphere is what really, I think, got me the most, just being in those like tight corridors and running around with who knows what's around the next corner. The thing that I didn't expect, and I guess Resident Evil 7 and 8 had some of that too, but Resident Evil 2, these opening hours were so gory and disgusting. That was the worst part for me. I have a very weak stomach. I'm a queasy individual, and some of the stuff, I mean, there are people getting decapitated and heads blown off and bodies torn apart, humans and zombies alike. It was gnarly. But from like a game design standpoint, I was so surprised at how engaging it was. The way that game opens up is you have like a little bit of like a tutorial where you're in a gas station and shit hits the fan. Okay, zombie outbreak time. And you go to your first day of work to Resident Evil Police Department, Raccoon City Police Department, RPD, Raccoon Police Department. You guys need a better name. And you get there and obviously the shit's overrun with zombies. And you end up in like the main hall, like you enter the doors that anybody would enter, and you've got this like big lobby area with a bunch of different doors, and all these doors are locked, and it does such a great job of teasing all of these little puzzles. And I mean, obviously, like, it's a Resident Evil game, and I've played that before, and I think the closest thing I might equate it to is like, I guess like Uncharted kind of grabs some of the inspiration from Resident Evil as far as like their puzzle solving goes, but you have like that journal type of thing where you can like reference things in your inventory and read what other people have taken as notes or pictures that you have developed, things along those lines. You're spinning statues and turning wheels and the whole 9 yards, but it does such a great job of like teasing you with things in the environment of like, okay, well, here's this thing with 3 spinning wheels and a bunch of symbols. I'm gonna have to figure out what those symbols are that are supposed to be entered so I can get this amulet and insert it into this thing that has 3 different spots. So there's got to be 2 more amulets. Where am I gonna find this stuff? Then I pick up a gem and I don't know what to do with this gem, but I'm excited to find out what I'm gonna do with it. It was really engaging. If it wasn't for being so fucking off-putting when it comes to the horror elements, I really think that I would dig into this entire game.
And, this game, I kind of equate the puzzle mechanics in this game kind of to Outer Wilds, but it's much more on the nose than Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
You find something in one place and it's useful somewhere. You just got to figure it out. You got to get there. You got to pull all the pieces together. And and also the mood of this game. It's a much more campy horror than 7 and 8. 7 especially is horror. You know, you're gonna get scared. It's gonna be disturbing. And then 8 kind of relaxes a little bit more into action horror, but this is a very campy horror with the zombie, like, I don't know, flesh degradation. I don't even know what to call it when you blow off their heads. It's very visceral in this game. This game and the next RE3 remake more than it is in any other game. But this is definitely my favorite Resident Evil of the ones I've played. I think it's definitely worth sticking through to the end. It's a phenomenally made game. So great.
Well, I ain't doing that for free. I wouldn't sign up and just like fucking play this thing on a Thursday afternoon. That's not in the cards.
Come on.
But maybe if I lose a fucking bet, you can talk me into a couple more hours. We'll see how it goes.
We'll figure it out.
But overall, Resident Evil, hot ticket, to be honest. More enjoyable than the other 2 Resident Evil games that I've actually played. That's not true. I've actually played Resident Evil 4 to completion because that game is like not exactly scary, but nonetheless, still enjoyed it quite a bit.
That's Resident Evil 4 is actually where I quit the series because it's hard to play. It's hard to play now.
No, it's good. It holds up.
No.
I don't know if that's true. I haven't played it in 10, 15 years.
I'm waiting for the remake to complete the series, honestly. Yeah. I just can't.
I get it. You don't like toting Ashley around?
No, I hate it. I hate babysitting Ashley.
All right.
Hey, you know,
let's talk about an interesting game that I have a very small frame of reference for. But you played... I mean, it's tough to say that you played through this game, but you played through some of it, at the very least.
Yeah.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Ultra Deluxe. Yeah, I played through... I would say I probably hit maybe 40 to 50% of this game yet, or so far. But it's also a hard game to say, I've seen everything, because it's got like 1,000 paths.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting and like supremely unique video game. Do your best to sum it up, or just like, you know, if someone's listening to this or watching this that has never heard of this video game before, what is this game? Good luck.
Okay, so think walking simulator. Okay, you're walking. That's all you really do. But you're walking down a street, not really a street, you're in an office building. And you can choose to go into the left door or right door. And then if you go into the left door, you can choose left door or right door. And if you go in the left door, you can choose left door or right door. Pretty much, you have choices to make everywhere in this game. And depending on what you choose, you have a different outcome. Some things loop back around. Other things are like capstones. That's you end the game, but then you get put right back to the beginning. There is a like true ending to this game that will make you roll the credits. It's fairly simple to get because you have a narrator in your ear the whole time. If you just do what he says, then you reach the end with, you know, quotations around. But it's a game about choices, and it's a game about doing what you want. There are many different things you can do, and like I think there's like something like don't quote me on this, but like 200 different paths you can take. So I beat the game, played a little bit of just the base game, did some different exploration options. One that it's hard to talk about this game without spoiling anything, and I'm trying not to.
Yeah, don't.
But I played through the base game a little bit, and then I played through some of the new content. It's a very meta game. It talks about itself being a game a lot. It almost kind of feels like if Deadpool made a game, but it wasn't a Deadpool game. It's so hard to talk about. I think everyone should at least like watch a playthrough of this game. I think playing it yourself is the best because it's not a super expensive game. I think it's like $30. But it is.
When I watched what I saw of the game, it reminded me a lot of if you like the banter of Portal, then you will enjoy playing through this game. I think is the best way to put it.
It started as a Half-Life 2 mod, right?
Okay.
Originally, I think it was a Half-Life 2 mod.
That's
and then they kind of, Source Engine. At least originally. I don't know what it is now. But it was a Half-Life 2 mod where they just wanted to make a meta game. And that's what it is. It's a crazy game. I have the hard time finding the words to explain the game without spoiling
listen,
anything.
we don't ever like review things. Give this game a score out of 10. Like, I feel like that's probably even a hard thing to do with this game. But
I don't know. It was I'd say like a 7.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a game for smart people.
Well, I'll check right in.
yeah. Jake just put it in his cart. I enjoyed what I played of it, but I think because I kind of knew what to expect going into it, it kind of dulled the experience. I think if you just kind of pick this up and experience it raw, that's the best way to play it.
Yeah.
If anybody has ever played I think it's called The Corridor on Steam, it's very similar, but this is like it times 1,000. So if you haven't played The Corridor, that's not helpful at all. But if you have played it, then check it out. Check this game out. It will defy expectations.
Nice. Speaking of defying expectations, that's a bad transition. I gotta get those transitions under lockdown here. We talked last month or 2 months ago now at this point about Switch Sports, and the way that they rolled out Switch Sports, if you've been listening to the show, they're doing a similar thing with Mario Strikers Battle League, but with a slightly different twist to it. So essentially, Mario Strikers Battle League comes out on June 10th. This coming weekend, starting on June 3rd, I believe, on Friday, and then over the course of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're doing little flights of a online technical test demo, the same way they did for Switch Sports. So essentially, you are able, if you so desire, to check out the game early. So they put the demo up for download this time around, and what's interesting about this one versus Switch Sports is with Switch Sports, you could download it early, but when it was... you could do nothing in the game until it was one of these hour-long windows they gave you to try it online. With the Mario Strikers Battle League, they had the tutorial available to us immediately. And let me tell you, there's a lot to experience in this little fucking tutorial. So I hopped on here and I played this tutorial for nearly an hour. It's very comprehensive, and I'm glad that I decided to hop on and play the tutorial first, because having just 1 hour of a window to play the game and learn the ins and outs of it, this game ended up being surprisingly deep. So I don't want to spend too much time on it yet, but I felt that it was important to bring up that you can go online right now and download this demo ahead of playing it online during specific windows for an hour. I think there's 5 windows over 3 days, each of them an hour long a piece, the same way they did the Switch Sports test this weekend. If you're thinking about doing that, hop on and do the tutorials. It has a lot going on. There's a bunch of different moves. It controls surprisingly differently than the original 2 Mario Strikers games, and it's fun and deep. I've had high hopes for Mario sports games in the past. Honestly, the Mario sideshows have been leaving something to be desired over the past couple of years. I think since like Mario Tennis Aces and Super Mario Party, there have been some issues with some lackluster offerings.
Dude, Tennis Aces was great.
It's okay. It's okay. There's not much to go back to. And I think they're all a bit of a one-trick pony, and that's how Nintendo is. And I mean, I get it. The best case scenario with these Nintendo sports games is you get them, you play them for a couple hours, and then you whip them out when it's fucking go time. When you have the friends over that like that game, then you can play against them, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But Mario Strikers Battle League, my hunch is that there's more here, and I think that it might be a game that has some sort of competitive following. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Smash Brothers levels of like this thing's going to pop up at Evo or anything like that, but I think if they get the online functionality correct and that this game gets that same trickle of DLC to keep it interesting, we might have a hit on our hands. So hop on, play that tutorial. I will say, if I'm going to be like singing its praises, I'm not sure that I personally love all of the changes that they've made to the Mario Strikers formula. I prefer a nice, simple soccer game. What was nice about the original Strikers, even over the Mario Strikers Charged, the second one for the Wii, was that you could throw a controller to your buddy, and by the second quarter, they knew everything that was going on, and they were going to be competitive against you. This one is going to take some work. If you've been playing it for a few hours, you're going to have a huge edge over an opponent that just grabbed it. So, worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing. Speaking of things we're kind of into.
Speaking of things.
You've been playing one of the new releases of this past month. Not many new releases in May, but you checked out Evil Dead the game.
Yeah, I checked out Evil Dead. I played it on stream one night. It's an asymmetrical multiplayer. You can either play as the... God, I forgot the name of the demon. You can play the bad guy, or you can play as a team of survivors, which are characters from the Evil Dead movie / TV show, I guess. Don't quote me on that. Never watched any of the Evil Dead, even though I think I want to watch it soon. Yeah, I know. It's a Sam Raimi joint too, so it's like, of course I should watch that, right? Yeah, I'm gonna watch it soon. But anyways, asymmetrical multiplayer. I can't speak too much on it because I did the tutorials, and I played one match as a demon and one match as a survivor. Both matches I lost. It's definitely a team game. If you've got a group of 4 people that you want to play with, you guys can have a great time with this game. It's very, very interesting and fun from what I played. But I want to play it with people. I'm not going to keep playing it if I'm playing it alone, you know? And it's one of those games, it's $40, right? It might be hard to convince your entire group to pick up this game.
Does it feel like a $40 game? Does it feel big budget? Does it feel like a full package?
Yeah, it feels fine. It's got offline modes as well where you can play against AI, so that's nice. I have a hard time putting any like definite rating on it just because I haven't put much time into it yet, but I have sat here and wondered what makes this different and what makes this more or less enticing than Dead by Daylight.
Sure. That's the crowd they're going for, so the reasonable question to ask.
And Dead by Daylight, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't know how it has the legs that it has. I don't see the appeal of that game. It's not for me. I've played it a couple times. I don't love it. But this game, there's much more combat. Like you can fight back against the demon, right? You have weapons. You fight the demon and his minions and everything. And as the demon, you can spawn in enemies and stuff. It kind of reminds me of the Resident Evil one that came out a little while ago. I don't even remember what it was called because they've been putting out Resistance, maybe.
Resident Evil pumps out a little side game that's supposed to be packed in with their game every time they fucking.
They do. Yeah, so I think it came out with RE3 Remake, but it was an asymmetrical multiplayer. And it just didn't hit right. And I don't know what it is I don't know what it takes to nail down asymmetrical multiplayer. But if you're an Evil Dead fan, I think you'll enjoy this. If you're an asymmetrical multiplayer fan, I think you'll enjoy this. But I'm having a hard time finding my place in this genre of games.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Check it out.
Ever since Evolve, man, they can't get it right. Did you ever play that back in the day?
No, but I did play
weird failure of a video game.
The Predator game. Yeah. That PlayStation did. It was fun. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I checked out briefly Roller Champions. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Roller Champions.
Probably. Who knows?
Okay, so this is Ubisoft game that's been in development for like 2 or 3 years.
I feel like I saw this at like 2019 E3.
I didn't remember it, but I fucking played Roller Champions. They revealed this at like an E3 or a Summer Games Fest, and they said, "Hey, go try it now in like alpha or beta or something." And it felt like a different video game at the time, but I played it and I said, "This sucks," and I didn't think about it again until it got pretty much announced as being out and available now. And I tried it out. Tutorial went well, and I actually really liked the movement, and I said, this has promise. So then I hopped online, and this game was touted as, you know, being a full package. It's available, it's online, it's cross-play, you can play the single player, you can play the multiplayer, you can have a league, you can do all this stuff, right? So I get online, and I'm on my PlayStation 5 playing the PlayStation 4 version of the game. My buddy's on PC, and we go to initiate that cross-play, and we can't see each other. we do a little Googling. And despite crossplay being listed as one of the features on their website, and when they're talking about this game, the crossplay that is available is if you hop into a match-made game, there is a chance that you will pop up against somebody else that's on a different console. The functionality,
so there's no party system.
The functionality to add somebody to your party that is on a different console does not exist yet. Ubisoft, get fucked, dude. That is the shittiest thing I have ever heard. That is not what we are looking for in crossplay. It is not a feature of your video game that I can randomly be against an opponent from a different console. It's great because when no one's playing this in a month and a half, maybe you'll be able to fucking find an opponent. That's the only thing you're doing, is you're doing this for yourself. The fact that you're touting crossplay and I can't invite my friend that's on another console to play with me doesn't fucking count as crossplay. You got us on a technicality, and I am ashamed for you all. That's all. Dude, that's all the press. No, you can't. That's all they get. Roller champions will not be spoken of again. They're fucking banned.
Yes, I feel like there was another game recently that did that. There was like you could play with PC people, but you couldn't party up with them. I think Insane. It was called. I think it was Back for Blood, or maybe. Don't quote me on that. But
it's like, I almost feel like I almost use the word like it's like the biggest injustice, but like I shouldn't be as mad as I am, but I have not been so generally peeved at a video game, and I was like on stream fuming. Like, that's so shitty to advertise crossplay.
Steam and then, coming out of your ears.
Oh my god, it made me so fucking mad. So mad that I want to spend more time talking about Sonic 06 than Roller Champions. I played Sonic 06 for the first time. Now listen, we're going to talk about Sonic Origins and Sonic Frontiers on this show, but I went back and I played what is widely regarded as the worst Sonic game of all time and one of the worst technical video games of all time. And I don't know, man. In my head, I said, it can't be that bad. It's honestly... it's as bad as they say. The problem with Sonic 06 is that it prevents you from doing what you want to do. It makes me furious that the platforming and the control of the character is so bad, because everything else in the game is actually really good. It looks way better than any video game should have looked in 2006, especially a 3D platformer. It's got ridiculous, over-the-top music. It's got beautiful levels. It's got nice graphics. It's got the most absurd story you would ever believe. Sonic is trying to fuck a human girl. I'm not kidding. They're frolicking in the forest together. He's holding her as they run through levels. But it is a technical train wreck of a video game. And I'll be 100% honest, I can't wait to play more of it. And I'm going to. I'm going to finish this video game. It's so stupid and fun. I played against a boss, the second boss in the game. So you play as Sonic the Hedgehog, but you can also play as Silver the Hedgehog, who is a new character for this game, or Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, is this when Silver was introduced?
Yeah. So the second boss you fight is Silver in a tiny little box of an arena. And this game, I kid you not, and listen, I know I'm not good at video games or anything like that, but I did beat Elden Ring. I found it somehow in myself to make Elden Ring happen. I've played some Dark Souls games. I've played some difficult games in my day, and I've overcome. I kid you not, I died to this boss like 30 times before I even got a fucking hit on him on purpose. It was absolute insanity. It is some of the worst fucking game design that I've ever experienced in my life. But it was just one of those things, every time I died, I just wanted to complete it even more. It's thoroughly infuriating and a hell of a good time. Sonic 06, check it out. In stores now. Worth noting, I got this game. So this game was so bad that Sega tried to hide it, and they ripped it down off the digital marketplaces, and you couldn't buy it outside of a hard disc for many, many years, like a decade. And then a week ago, out of nowhere, they put it back up on the Xbox marketplace for $5. I've had it on my list of shit to check out, and it was an easy clap.
Dude, I was about to say, I saw this at my Walmart, a 360 version of it still in stock at my Walmart recently.
Really? How much was it?
I don't know. I didn't see.
I just saw it sitting there on the shelf. Shoot me a message, because I would be interested in buying that. I want to physically copy that, especially sealed.
What was it recently that I found? I sent you a picture of some 360 game within the past year, I guess.
Oh,
not really
something.
recently.
I forgot what it was, but it was a good ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get into some more games that Colin's been playing, but the games that I'm gonna be talking about over the next couple that I bring up on my end, as far as what I've been playing, I was on a vacation for like almost 3 weeks. It wasn't exactly a vacation. I was helping out some family, so I was kind of stranded with just my Switch and a very limited laptop. So I played some kind of more out there games, less demanding games or Switch exclusive games. So some of my stuff is gonna get a little weird. Lots of travel, lots of being on a plane, and I will say a lot of Picross. Picross.
I've never played Picross.
You know anything about it?
Nope.
I do a fucking terrible job trying to explain it. It's a grid-based game, sort of like Sudoku with numbers, but it gives you like a code or a pattern that you have to figure out and just fill in the blocks. By using the numbers, you can either fill the block or mark the block as not a block to be filled, and then via process of elimination, you go through and you create a picture. And it is the most serene and relaxing and satisfying puzzle game ever. And it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and there's 7 or 8 of them now. It's Picross S.
Oh, wow.
It originated back on, I believe, if you go to the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo, you can play the Japanese version on your Switch right now. Via the Nintendo Switch Online Classics catalog, and you can play it in Japanese because it's all numbers based. You'll figure out what you're doing, I promise. Right now you're saying I can't play it in Japanese, there's no instructions.
Japanese numbers?
Just hop in and figure out the game. You can do it. You listener, you viewer, you can do this too. Worth checking out. I can't recommend it enough. If you like a little puzzle game like a Sudoku or like a word search or any kind of little time killer, especially on your Switch on a plane, like, you know, I had a flight that was like 35 minutes long in the fucking air. At that point, like, hop on and play 2 games of Picross, 3 games of Picross. It's such a great time.
Hey, man, do you think they have achievements for this game? Can I get the platinum on this game?
Nintendo doesn't have achievements. Maybe that would be my prediction. Nintendo finally has achievements at their next event.
They'll never do it.
That was a quick one. Let me just jump into my next one too. I played some Breath of the Wild. It had been a while, and I beat Breath of the Wild back when it came out 5 years ago and all that. And then I got the DLC, and I remember hopping into the DLC and having no fucking clue what I was doing, and thinking, one day I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna start this game fresh and go through.
Doesn't you get a motorcycle in the DLC?
Yeah, dude, I never got the motorcycle, and I bought that thing. But you gotta do it. You gotta complete things, and they're hard to complete. It's not a very that game is fairly complex as far as like, oh shit, I forgot how to cook this food. Oh, I don't know how to surf on my shield. There's weird button inputs. It's not very traditional by any game senses. So starting it fresh was really, really nice. It's interesting. This game doesn't have multiple save files. The only way that I could save my save file and start a new one was to create
I know.
a second user. It was ridiculous. But nonetheless, I got another user on my Switch now. And I've got a Zelda save file that's about 10 hours into this thing. And this game holds up. It's so fun, man. It's still the open world to beat. Suck it, Elden Ring. You're cool, you look pretty, but you're just a bunch of fucking paths. And at the end of it is some sort of fucking spell I'm never going to use because I don't have the stats to use it. Breath of the Wild, every single corner that I take, I look forward and I find something new and exciting and a sense of wonder and a new secret I hadn't seen before or a shrine that is yet to be discovered. It is still, I get it. I understand the Breath of the Wild hate. I understand that it's an open world video game and now it's like a Ubisoft knockoff and it's not the Zelda that you were looking for. Take all of your criticisms and shove them up your ass. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest games of all time, and I stand by it. And this only... It only shows, like, I mean, it's literally been 5 years since this thing came out. It holds up. And Breath of the Wild 2 is, like, almost a meme in my head currently. You know, it definitely feels like, holy shit, how is this game not out yet? I forget how excited I am for it. I think Breath of the Wild 2 will be a contender for Game of the Year 2023. Obviously. I don't think that's a really hot
See, listeners, watchers, whatever, what you guys are going to realize is Jake spends like 3 months comparing everything to Outer Wilds and then 3 months comparing everything to Breath of the Wild.
Listen, we have to take a break. We're going to cut real quick. There's a spider on my ceiling. I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the spider has been dealt with. Back to our regularly scheduled Colleen making fun of me for liking Zelda.
Yeah, well, no, I like Zelda too, but I will admit I'm a little jaded with how everyone always talks about Breath of the Wild and they always talk about Outer Wilds. And it's like they're great games. I'll give you that, but can they be great games silently?
No.
I mean, I'm the same way. When it comes to Sly Cooper, I'm going to talk about Sly Cooper all day every day.
Yeah, at least people agree with me. That was mean, and I take it back.
It's true. I can't even deny. Listen, well,
this is what happens when you attack my Zelda. I attack your Sly.
So, well, I think most people that have played Sly agree with me. It just hasn't been played
Sly,
enough.
and I do agree. I think Sly is fucking fantastic. It just isn't as good as Jack or Ratchet.
Oh, I disagree, but okay, we'll move on. I'll move on from this conversation.
More Sly coming up in the predictions end of this. I'm cashing in on Colleen's fucking. I keep calling Colleen's.
I have
Sly love.
I have a list, and at the very top of the list is Sly. If it will focus, it's not going to.
I'm going to cash in on your prediction of Sly being at this Sony sale.
Oh, and you're going to use it against me, aren't you?
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, pal.
Oh,
you're about to be
screaming
every Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh,
or Zelda.
Ugh. Bro, okay. So the reason I'm jaded with Zelda is because I had a 50-hour save file and my sister wanted to play, so I let her play and she saved over my file and I lost it all and I was so mad. And I've been mad since then. I haven't touched the game since then. I sold it. I sold the game. I've never touched it since.
You don't sell games.
I know I don't sell games, but I was mad.
Are you gonna play Breath of the Wild 2?
Of course.
Yeah, gamer. Yeah. All right, you played Sackboy.
Sackboy. Okay. While you've got me upset,
game, dude.
Let's just continue so I can complain more. Sackboy, great game. Play it if you haven't. But if you want to get the platinum, you have to do this stupid challenge called the Rip Snorter, okay? Or whatever it's called. Stupid name. But to get to the challenge, you have to go through all the levels and you have to collect these little things called like knitted night trials. And they look like little silver Rubik's cubes hidden in the maps. So you collect all of those. For each one of those that you collect, you have to do a time trial. You do the time trial, you move on to the next one. At the end is the Rip Snorter, which is all, I think, 15 time trials put together in one run. And you can't die. If you get hit once, you're fine. If you get hit twice, you got to restart. And you have to do it in under 10 minutes. So you can be right at the whatever 9:59 mark about to cross the finish line. But if you die, you just wasted 10 minutes. I spent probably 10 hours on this stupid trial trying to get it because it was one stupid trophy.
So did you end up dying to get to the end more, or did you get to the end and not have the time?
I got to the end once and I had the time that I needed.
Okay, so it was more about just getting through it.
Yeah, and at that point, I had mastered everything so perfectly at the start. I had plenty of time.
Was it satisfying as fuck, though?
I don't know if I'd call it satisfying. I think I was just glad to have it over with. Yeah, it was one of those games that's why I put it on my backlog, was that single challenge. And as soon as I finished that challenge, got the platinum, deleted the game, stuck it in my case, and it's going to remain there.
But what if they have a cool costume? What if they have a Sly costume? Full play?
Yeah, I'd probably play it.
Nice. I think that game is awesome and it doesn't get enough credit. And it feels like even when there's like not much competition, there's not many platformers, 3D platformers like that on PlayStation. It feels like it's already forgotten. And I think that it should come back. I would love a Sackboy's Big Adventure too.
I think so too. And I played through the main campaign with my girlfriend, and she's not a gamer like me. But she played through the entire game with me and she enjoyed it, I think. So
nice.
It was good. Yeah.
I played a bunch of Castlevania on my Switch while I was gone. You have any Castlevania experience?
I've watched the anime.
That doesn't count. Games?
No, I don't have any.
You never played
Castlevania.
Symphony of the Night, bro?
No.
All right, let me test my
Never.
knowledge here. I think I can name all the games that are included on this collection. So it was 3 of them that were from the Game Boy Advance, and then one of them, I think Dracula X Chronicles, the one on the far right, is a Sega Genesis game or like a remake of a Sega Genesis game. I'm not exactly sure the story on that, but that's not really the highlight. That's kind of a tacked on bonus. The trilogy on the left that you see there are the 3 games that came out on GBA when I was a kid. I think like 2004, 5, and 6 maybe, or 3, 4, and 5, something along those lines. So it's Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. And these are 3 of the best Metroidvanias ever created. Circle of the Moon's okay. Harmony of Dissonance is really good. That's my favorite one. It's very traditional. You are a guy with a whip. You're a Belmont with a whip. Aria of Sorrow is kind of more like a Symphony of the Night, where you can get many different types of weapons and use them throughout the game. But they are obviously extremely traditional Metroidvanias. They are Castlevania games. Castle, map, backtracking, skills, abilities. You walk by this area with a gap too big for you to jump. You come back when you have the double jump, and now you can get through it. That kind of thing. It is so good, and these games hold up against the test of time. The very first one is questionable. It was a launch game. Circle of the Moon was a launch game for the Game Boy Advance. A Game Boy Advance, the original one, the one that was shaped like a hamburger, not a hot dog, was not a backlit screen. So it kind of is a little bit dimmer in general. It was meant to be used while you had a light on in the room. The screen itself didn't lend itself. So it kind of looks a little washed out compared to the other two. The other two are very vibrant games, and just both so good. I played, most of my time was spent in Harmony of Dissonance, running it back. And if you have any interest in that genre, these games there's a lot of game here, obviously. It's 4 full games packed into one thing. It goes on sale for like $10 to $15 all the time, and it's on every major platform. Specifically on Switch, I feel like it's a great fit, though. If you're ever looking for something like that, 2D side-scroller, castle exploration, action, RPG.
What do you mean Game Boy Advance looks like a hamburger versus a hot dog?
It's like a horizontal instead of a vertical. The Game Boy Advance was
okay,
like
the fold up
the first
is
one
the
was
hot dog.
Boy. Yeah, the SP was the first backlit one.
Did you know that it's not Game Boy Advanced? It's Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Game Boy GBA, Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I had the.
Did you finish any of these games? That's a real question.
No, I did. I finished Harmony back in the day, but I got like probably 12 hours into Harmony this time or so.
Gotcha.
Not bad. I was spread all
No
over the
Hollow
place.
Knight? You had plenty of time for Hollow Knight.
I didn't play any Hollow Knight. No, I don't own it on Switch. I didn't feel like rebuying it.
Oh, really? That's fair.
This is probably a great Switch game.
It is. That's
Hollow
where I
Knight's
played
good
it.
stuff though. But yeah, I love these games, and I loved my Game Boy Advance. I used to have the Glacier Purple Game Boy Advance, the see-through purple one. Oh,
the classic one.
So sexy. If
That's
I
what
were
I
to
think
go
of when I
back
think
and
of a Game Boy
rebuy,
Advance.
I was back in the day. I would like trade up. I would bring that in, and I'd get a Game Boy
Yeah.
Advance SP, and then I got my Game Boy Advance SP, and I traded that in towards a Game Boy Micro. Very poor decision. That's a tough video game system to play.
Ooh, a micro.
Yeah, I still have it. My Micro's sick. I'm gonna grab it. It's worth it.
Okay. Well, while he's gone, I can talk bad about him. You think his big hands fit on that micro? I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
You feeling dead air? Insulting me? If you're watching the video version, you can see I've got the Famicom Edition Game Boy Micro. I've got this little Rose Colored Gaming, I think is the brand that makes these sweet little stands to display things on. I've got a couple collectible items that I have on those. This show brought to you by Rose Colored Gaming. Thank you. It's not, I paid a full fucking price for these, but holler at GameList. We're looking for that sweet Rose Colored Gaming sponsorship, but
Yeah, if you
Famicom
want to
Edition
sponsor
Game Boy.
GameList, send me an inbox at whatever you can find.
Give me your
I
personal.
don't know. CaulinYT@gmail.com.
That's the personal. All right. You played Xbox Game Pass darling Outriders?
Outriders.
What's the deal?
Okay, the first thing I wanted to say about this game is whenever it's on your dashboard on the PlayStation 5 at least, you know how like
You're playing
whenever
on
you
PlayStation? You own it?
Yeah, I own it.
Oh god.
I got it for like $10. Actually, it was a gift.
Nice.
But he got it for like $10. So anyways, we're playing Outriders. Whenever you you go over the dashboard, go over to it on the dashboard, it plays music, right? Because sometimes it plays the music of the game, right? On the PS5. Yeah, so this one, whenever you go over to it, instead of like some calm music that they normally play, it is the most abrasive sound you have ever heard. It is just oh my god, it's so bad. I don't know who decided to put that sound as the sound to their game on the dashboard.
That is
but
really
they made
like
a
an
mistake.
underrated thing. We should do like I feel like that's an untapped market. It would be like grading games based on their preview
Dashboard presence.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the king of this shit is Kingdom Hearts, man. Playing that dearly beloved, so relaxing.
Personally, I think it's Life is Strange.
What kind of emo bops do they play?
It's not. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll do a segment one day. We'll do a segment and bring forward our favorite ones.
Yeah.
With like a screenshot of what it is and a sound bite or whatever.
That's a good idea. Let's have a top 3, bottom 3.
Yeah, I like
coming
that.
up. Special game list 2023.
Yeah. But yeah, so I played through Outriders. I guess I got it during Christmas, so I played through most of it around Christmas, and then we got back into it recently. I wrapped it up. The story, bleh. Characters, bleh. Gameplay, it's definitely the most mediocre looter shooter there is. It's not a bad game. I think if you get it for free or get it for $10, I think it's worth it. I put about 35 hours into it, grinded out all the stuff for the platinum trophy, and I'll never play it again. So yeah, it was kind of fun with friends, but I wouldn't play
Outriders. It's fine. You heard it here first.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Well, I was gone. We both played a game that I've played. I was thinking about bringing up my Steam and taking a peek at this. I've got at least 500 hours in Risk on the computer.
He's really good too. I hate to admit that he's good at something, but he's really good at
I like Risk. I've liked Risk since before it was on computers, and the fact that it's now on a computer and I can play it with online opponents has only honed my skills. If any of you GameList listeners want these hands, please try to get into Australia. I fucking beg you. I'm just kidding.
He likes it because
Australia's an amateur hour place to try to hold down.
Wait a minute, isn't that what you held down to beat us last time?
So here's the thing. If I have we were playing a game with 5 players with a random assortment. You get dictated where your people are, so you can't always just like make the call. Like if it was up to me, I'd hold Europe every single time, but I don't have that luxury depending on where things fall. So you play the hands that you're dealt and you try to do the best. But Australia is a fucking nightmare. You get barreled in there where other people have all kinds of fun. Sucks. What did you think of playing it on the computer?
Oh, I used to play it on my phone like that all the time with my friends in high school.
Same
we
app,
loved Risk.
Risk Global Domination?
Yeah, literally the exact same thing.
It's
same
not
interface
bad.
And everything. Yeah. I would have done better in that game, but I kept misclicking everything. There was one move where I misclicked terribly, and it ruined me. But it was still fun. It's a fun game with friends. It's just one of the best.
Yeah, it is, and it was a really good. Like I was my streaming setup was very limited, so I was Discording into somebody else that was streaming for me with my stream key. And even just playing Risk and being on Discord, my computer was fucking chugging. So it's nice to be back to the battle station, I'll tell you that.
That'll be me next week.
Yeah, but don't worry. We're going to get you on there.
Yeah.
Not an issue. All right. You jumped into Call of Duty Vanguard, which is still the current Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, somehow. It feels like it's been forever.
It does.
So this kind of ties into the next thing that I've been playing as well. But I was playing Hell Let Loose, right? And I beat it. I say I beat it. It's a
You're on Hell
multiplayer
Let
only
Loose
game.
now. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So this is one coherent story in the end.
Yeah.
I beat it, getting the platinums at least. I got the platinum. And Hell Let Loose is just the most fun military sim I've ever played. It's so fun. As I was waiting for new content to drop, I decided to hop into Vanguard because I wanted more World War II stuff. So what I did is I got into Vanguard, decided to play the campaign on stream. Campaign was good. It was a Call of Duty campaign. I always enjoy Call of Duty campaigns, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of any campaign that I hate. So it was a fun campaign, nice and short like normal, bunch of crazy shooting, weird scenarios that you're in.
Yeah, they always do a good job.
Yeah, their campaigns are always pretty good. I played some multiplayer, and my God, Call of Duty multiplayer has just gotten ridiculous. I almost have a seizure trying to load in and run across the map to understand what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
All the skins and bullet effects and everything that's going on in this game is just ridiculous. They started when Modern Warfare released. That was when it was my favorite because it was a little slower. Things were a little bit more grounded, and then over time with that and Cold War, they started pumping out all these skins and like bullet effects and just weird things.
Oh my God, I thought you were talking about Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, not Call of Duty Modern
Oh
Warfare
no,
2019.
I'm talking about 2019.
That's why
Sorry.
you're not in my head fucking agreeing with you, because that's when Call of Duty was great.
Oh yeah, no.
Different
See,
eras.
I loved 2019 Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I did too.
For like
Actually,
the first year. Yeah, it was great. And then Cold War and Vanguard have just gone off the rails. I can't even tell what's going on in the game anymore.
They've really cannibalized themselves. I was actually reading something recently about how Modern Warfare right now is actually fucking unplayable, like the online multiplayer part, because of a Warzone update. And I'm sure they've fixed that since, but they really created a nightmare trying to combine these games and making them all cater to Warzone.
Yeah, it's multiplayer's not fun anymore to me. It's just not my thing. And then I tried out the zombies, and the zombies in this game is probably the worst zombies has ever been. It's terrible. It's the worst. So I didn't stick with that past completing the campaign.
Understandable.
But then, going back to Hell Let Loose, they finally released their Eastern Front update on consoles. So we have Stalingrad and Kursk, which are really fun maps to play. I love that game, and I love the experiences that you have in that game. If you've never played Hell Let Loose, I've told you guys like 20 times at this point, but please play Hell Let Loose. It is so fun.
It's a perfect segue into my closeout, because you've talked about Hell Let Loose, I think 3 times in a row, and we're about to talk about Vampire Survivors very briefly for, I'm pretty sure, the 4th time, because we talked about it when I first played it. We talked about it when Freight was on. Then you tried it on Freight's recommendation. And then I really had only put in like 2 hours into that game, and I was fond of it. But while I was gone, it was a perfect game that my computer could run while I was out.
Your computer could run it without blowing up?
Well, I didn't realize once I got good at it that it would be stressful. So it sort of like started off going really well when my runs were 5 minutes long, and then it got pretty fucking intense. But now that I've sunk like 10 hours into Vampire Survivors, all I want to say is that if you're on the fence, if you've said, it's $3, I'll get to it at some point, I've heard them talk about it a couple times, we'll see if it's for me, just go fucking buy it. Go fucking buy it.
I would counter that with, don't buy it. Go get like 3 ice cream cones for $1.
Ice cream cones are more than $1.
Okay, go get 2 ice cream cones.
Go
for
get 1
$3.
ice cream cone, and then
Where
push
are you
it
getting
onto
ice
your
cream cones?
push it
I'm
onto
talking
your
about,
face
like,
slow, because
like
you're
a
an idiot.
McDonald's, you know. I tried to play Vampire Survivors in class one day on my MacBook, and my fan started blowing so fast that the entire class could hear it, and they kept turning back to look at me because I sit in the back of the class. So they were all like turning around like, what are you doing back there?
Yeah.
So I had to close it out and delete it.
Before we move on to game news for the last month, no big additions to either of our game list for the year this month.
What do you mean?
Like none of the games that we played this month affect our GOTYs.
Oh, mine does.
Really?
Yeah, GhostWire.
GhostWire's in there?
Yeah.
Nice. Give us a little preview. So we're going to dig in. Typically, we talk a little bit more about our list, but because we're going to have the bonus episode next month, as a reminder, this month, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a bonus episode that recaps all of the news that we're looking forward to for E3, Summer Game Fest, all these press conferences that are coming up, and it'll be our half the year update for our individual game lists. So look forward to that. In the meantime, let's talk about some video game news. All right, the biggest news of the month happened almost a fucking month ago now. I don't want to say it's old news. We only do this show once a month, all right? Now let me tell you.
Never old news.
No, it's still big news. I think this will go down as being one of the bigger news stories of the month, of the year. Embracer Group.
I was about to say, I think it probably is the biggest.
It is the biggest of the month. Who would have thought? Embracer Group, the fucking absolute legends over there, have acquired
Embrace Me,
Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal from Square Enix. Wild. For a
do you think they're gonna leave it named Square Enix Montreal?
No. That would be a flex, though. That's got to be in the writing somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? But pretty fucking crazy news. And to be honest, some really gigantic IP, which is, obviously, they spent $300 million, which in the grand scheme of things, with all of the stuff that has been acquired this year, it's tiny. It seems to me like Square Enix was ditching a perceived problem.
Yeah.
I think Square Enix, we've talked about this perhaps even on this show at length, about how like Square Enix has really struggled with their non-Japan studios, specifically with Crystal Dynamics. It's, I think, safe to call Marvel's Avengers a misstep. Guardians of the Galaxy, although
a failure, it's more than a misstep.
Yeah, okay. Guardians of the Galaxy, great video game, still couldn't really, I don't think it could get out from under Marvel's Avengers is the problem with Guardians of the Galaxy. And just how genuinely I think that Square Enix has kind of mishandled those studios in the marketing for them. And even the games that come out that are successful are still labeled as a failure in their eyes. So I think this is a little bit of Square Enix doing what I've been saying they should do for quite a while, in that they need to focus on what they're good at. Square Enix is great at doing Japanese RPGs and action games. And now they're trimming the fat over there, and they're doubling down on what they can control. And at the same time, they're ditching some pretty big names that, if you ask me, for the last decade have been questionably used. So if we're just going down the list of what they've got, Crystal Dynamics has been working on Tomb Raider, Marvel's Avengers. They're currently supporting The Initiative over at Microsoft right now, working on Perfect Dark, which apparently is a big fucking mess. But they also have the IP for Pandemonium, the old games, Legacy of Kain and Blood Omen and all that stuff, which are some PS2 classics from your girl. What's your girl's name? You love her. She does the studios. Amy Hennig. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were going at there.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah.
And then most importantly, although not confirmed, it wasn't in the press release, I believe if you buy Crystal Dynamics, you also buy the rights to Gex. It's fucking Gex time. 2024, mark my words. Gex. 2024 is the year of Gex. Maybe 2025. Gex, the Gexaissance. We're calling it the Gexaissance.
The Gexaissance.
Yes. It's coming.
I think this is a very interesting deal. I much prefer this over PlayStation or Xbox buying someone.
Yeah, bigger third party.
Yeah, because Embracer is in the business for money, not platforms, right? Mm-hmm. So they're gonna put these games anywhere they can, which I think is great. More games to more people. And I have not. Embracer owns a lot now.
They do. They grabbed Gearbox not long ago.
Gearbox,
Embracer Group
THQ.
is formerly THQ Nordic, which I think a lot of people forget. And that comes with a decent amount of property in the first place. Koch Media, Koch. It's a tough call. This came up a lot during last year's Summer Games Fest because Koch Media did a press release, not a press release, but a their own little event. Everyone's like, who?
Did you really?
Who the fuck are you guys?
Who the heck is
but
Koch?
They're really not too bad. It's Deep Silver is pretty much who they represent. So you got like Risen, the Sacred series, Dead Island, Rides of Hell, Saints Row.
I don't even know if you can consider Dead Island anymore. Dead Island 2 has been in development longer than any other game.
The Metro series is really big for them as well.
Ooh, love the Metro series. They've got some good
stuff under their belt, and I guess I don't know. I feel like there's a world where it's been EA and Ubisoft have been the two names. I wouldn't be surprised if in like 2 or 3 years at E3 or Summer Games Fest 2025, everyone's really looking forward to what the Embracer Group press conference is going to look like. It's cool to see.
I'm excited. I think Square has a cultural difference that causes lots of issues with Western games.
Sure.
They mishandled Avengers. Avengers should have been just a slam dunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
A freaking Avengers game at the height of Marvel, fame, and they mishandled it. And unfortunately, it kind of rolled off into Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which was great. Yeah. Great game. It's
worth noting that it's Eidos Montreal are the ones that did Guardians of the Galaxy. So Crystal Dynamics supported, I believe, because they were all under that same umbrella. But in that same list of things that they're doing, Eidos Montreal is no slouch either. That's the other big IPs that they grabbed. On top of Tomb Raider, Eidos Montreal did the newest Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think. I get Shadow and Rise mixed up quite a bit, 2 and 3.
Yeah, Rise is the middle one.
Snow. Rise is snow. You rise to the top.
Yeah,
that's where snow is.
Yeah, Rise is the middle one. It's Tomb Raider, Rise, Shadow.
Yeah, so they did Shadow of the Tomb Raider from Crystal Dynamics on the bones of that. Obviously, probably a pretty easy development cycle there. But they are best known for helming Deus Ex for the last decade or so, which has a huge following, and those games have been really solid from what I understand. They did a Thief reboot in 2014, which I think was pretty well received.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
no.
It had a cool cover art.
Yeah.
Piece of shit?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Embracer Group gets it together. And then Square Enix Montreal, very small. They did like a Deus Ex Go and Tomb Raider Go. They do like little mobile adaptions of these games.
Yeah.
But overall,
interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I'm excited to see the future.
Yeah, I think I'm personally excited to see Square Enix trim the fat more than I am Embracer Group to get these titles. I know that not many people feel that same way, but for me, it seems like they probably let those IPs go and those teams go at a loss over at Square Enix so that they could just kind of out of sight, out of mind it and get back to basics.
Lots of people are saying, Square offloaded these studios so that they would sell easier. I don't see Square selling after offloading. I don't right now.
That's a tough call.
Yet. Yeah. I would say Square's not selling within the next 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sony might want them. I feel like Sony might give them an offer they can't refuse.
I think Sony definitely wants them.
It's a tough call because Sony seems to be buttering their bread over there pretty well. Right now, Square seems to be doing whatever they can do to align with these big studios while not... I almost made a terrible sexual joke. But they're not giving it up too easy, if that makes sense. They're taking these deals with like Epic Game Store, where Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts are both Epic Game Store exclusives. They'd be massively popular on Steam, but they're taking that easy paycheck and they're maintaining that exclusivity for longer than people even thought that they would. If you go back 2 years, 2.5 years to when 7 Remake came out, the entire world was screaming 1 year of exclusivity and that this thing would be on Xbox One and PC in fucking no time. Now, it did come to PC via Epic Game Store, but that's still a Sony console exclusive. We even had Intergrade come out, and at the same time, the Intergrade fans said the same thing. It's going to be 1 year of console exclusivity. Maybe they renewed it, something along those lines, because of the Intergrade DLC and the PS5 version.
That's what I was thinking.
But we've now exceeded that time frame as well. So
has it already been a year?
I believe so. I think it was April of last year.
Wow, I still haven't played Intergrade yet.
Yeah, so fucking good.
One thing I think is
more
like
on that for predictions.
Yeah,
we're in the month of its 25th anniversary for Final Fantasy VII, baby.
Oh, that's true. I think like Square, I don't know who's making the decisions over there, but I'm kind of torn. I think if Square wants to succeed, focus on Final Fantasy. They have Dragon Quest. Focus on like the things that are like always gonna sell, right? And but they go for these new IPs that are questionable at best, like Babylon's Fall and Deofield Chronicles, which we haven't seen that game yet. And then we could also even throw in Balan Wonderworld.
Okay.
I know, but
I get it.
They're so quick to admit that like Western games of theirs are failures, but they're still backing games like
that's a valid
Babylon's Fall.
And it's a tough call. Like Babylon's Fall is a poor example for anybody trying to rebut it, because I think that game is a critical and technical failure, and everyone agrees that it's trash and ill-conceived. But I think for things like Deofield Chronicles and like the new Valkyrie profile game, Valkyrie Elysium. Something along those lines. It's tough to tell how popular those games are and what they consider a success there, because I think that some of those are very low budget and small teams that they put together, and if those go through and they sell 300,000 copies in the States and then like 1.2 million over in Japan, I think those still count as a success for them. I think if they're coming through in the green, then you're all set. But
and then my thing also is like, I like new IP because I like things to change it up, but at the same time, Square's not been doing the best on new IP here recently.
No, cash in on what you got.
Yeah, and it's like, give me more Final Fantasy. We're begging for more Final Fantasy.
From your mouth to God's ears. I can only.
Are you there?
I can only hope that you're correct, and that we get some of that in the near future, because we needs it. But more of that coming up in my predictions at the end of this show.
I'm excited to get there. Gotham Knights. Can we talk about that?
We can most certainly talk about Gotham Knights. What a weird showing.
The first thing I want to say is for the video watchers, for the people watching the video, Jake, I'm going to ask you to swap straight from the Gotham Knights picture back to the GhostWire Tokyo picture and flip-flop back and forth and tell me they are not the exact same picture.
Yeah. You're pretty right.
They're the exact same picture. But what did you think of the gameplay demo for this?
This game looks like an Xbox 360 classic. All right, so a little bit of table setting. They had like a DC fandom or whatever like that, something along those lines, and they showed off like 10 minutes of raw gameplay, which all in all, that's the right thing to do. They had the right idea. No CGI trailer. Let's see this fucking game in action. And they showed it off, and it looks like an Xbox One, PS4 game from like 5 or 6 years ago. Is basically what it boils down to. Now, I get it. It's not a finished game or anything like that. And it's worth noting that Gotham Knights is the spiritual successor / spin-off to the Batman Arkham series, but it is not being done by who's the main guys. It's not Rocksteady, right? Rocksteady makes the good ones. So Rocksteady did Batman Arkham City and Arkham Knight, the first two. And then
Asylum, City, and Night.
Asylum, City, and Night, exactly.
Yeah, the original 3. And then Origins was done by...
not the original 3. Origins was the third one, because that was on 360 PS3. And then Night was Rocksteady's outing.
I guess I don't count Origins because it like jumps back to the beginning.
Yeah. So it's like a prequel side story. So this is done by the kind of the ad hoc team. It's the secondary guys, and at the same time, Rocksteady is busy with their Suicide Squad game.
Suicide Squad,
exactly.
Which
so this
is set. I'm a little confused on the messaging. I know one of them is in the Arkham universe and one of them isn't. This is the one that isn't, right?
I believe they're all set in the Arkham universe.
Are they? I'm gonna look that up while you give me your impressions. Just because
I'm not positive because I'm pretty sure that this one takes place in it, where Batman is dead, and these 4 freaks are leading the charge. So it's 4 playable characters, third person, open world. It looks a lot like the other Arkham games, despite having different playable characters. Online co-op throughout the whole thing of up to, I believe, 4 characters, but I think we've only seen 2 in action. And basically what's happened is the world agrees that this game looks okay. It looks like a 6 or a 7. The feedback was really rough around this. I think that we're about to talk about Jedi Fallen Order 2, which is now called Jedi Survivor. And I'm about to give them hell about not showing gameplay.
Please.
But I guess this is the alternative, is that if they would have showed a CGI trailer, I'm like, hey, your game comes out in 6 months, show us the fucking game. This is the risk that you take. You show us the game and it looks only okay, and this is the response that you get. So I honestly don't know what to make of it. It's not out of control. It looks like an honest look at what the game is, and I appreciate them not lying to us, and I think that there's still a ton of people that would play this and be happy with it being a 7 or an 8. And I get it. Nobody wants to put out a game that's like everyone sets out and they say we're going to make a game that's a 10. It's going to be the greatest game of all time. And not every game, more often than not, the game does not come out that way. But I don't know. I think that this game could still come out in its current form and be a critical failure and a commercial success.
Yeah, so what I think is the gameplay looks clunky and slow. Which is kind of hard to come off of because the most recent game that we had similar to this was Spider-Man, right?
I guess.
And Spider-Man is just so smooth and fast and just polished. Yeah. And I think this is going to have a hard time meeting those expectations. I'm not a huge DC fan. I really just don't like DC that much. So I might be a little... I'm not going to say I dislike DC because I don't dislike DC. I'm just more of a Marvel guy, so I'm going to have a inherent bias to Marvel stuff.
I'm in the same boat.
It's like I look at it and it's like the stuff on screen right now for the people that are listening. They were showing different like rarity items and things like that, and it's like. Yeah. Does a game like this need it? Just give me the gadgets that unlock through the story and let me have fun with them. I don't want to have to be swapping out my gun every 2 minutes because I'm getting something of a higher rarity.
Design, though, it's a tough call. I think one of the more interesting bits that came out of this is when they kind of re-revealed this game and showed off this stuff. I wonder how much will change in between here and release, because one of the things that they did was they announced the kind of unceremonious cancellation of the previous gen versions, which I think is one of the smartest thing that they've done.
I think so. I
read an article that said internally we don't want to have the next like Cyberpunk 2077, and I think what Cyberpunk did wrong is that they spread themselves too thin trying to develop for these earlier consoles, and all versions of the game suffered for it. So I think taking the PS4 and the Xbox One versions of the game off the table and focusing on current gen is a bold and good decision for them. The problem is that now, outside of it being released this way only on these next gen consoles, you can't hide that development started on these older generation consoles. And if you can't make a game that looks better than 4-year-old Spider-Man for PS4 at this point, then I guess you're kind of in a bad spot.
Yeah, and they gotta get rid of the freaking Fortnite glider. Why they put a glider that looks like something straight out of Fortnite in there?
I don't care.
I don't know. But I did look it up. Gotham Knights is not set in the Arkham universe.
Oh, interesting.
Suicide Squad is set in the Arkham verse, but it is not a direct continuation from the Arkham games.
Guarantee that comes back false, and it is a direct continuation.
Yeah. Also, what are the bets that Batman actually isn't dead in this game? I think there's a 100% chance Batman's not actually dead.
Well, if you look at like the key art for this game,
art,
if you're watching it, you can see it here. If you're listening, you can just Google Gotham Knights and click images and it'll come right up. It's a big purple rainy scene, and it's our 4 heroes from the game walking over a puddle, and inverted in the puddle is the outline of fucking Batman. Like, it's 100% Batman's going to be in this game. And I think if he's not an unlockable 5th character, he'll absolutely be in one of those sort of like one-off, like you play this chapter as Batman, like the second to last chapter or something like that.
Yeah, you can't have the setup to a game be, oh, Batman's dead. But actually, he's not.
Yeah,
because we all know he's not going to be dead.
It's Batman, baby.
I think it's a better chance of this game coming out and like there's a 0% chance this game comes out and Batman's actually dead.
Yeah, I would say right. I wouldn't take that bet if you're trying to get me to play a fucking Gotham.
Yeah, no, not at all. But Arkham Knights, everyone.
Yeah.
I guess.
Speaking about cancellations and delays, just a little blip. 2 Microsoft games. Again, this is probably, we talked a lot about this with Horizon. When Horizon didn't get an announcement of a date before one of those state of plays, I said, all right, they're going to push this fucker back. Getting kind of ahead of the news. I don't think they wanted Microsoft's big press conference in June to have the headline Starfield and Redfall delayed till 2023.
Delayed.
So a month early, they pushed these games back. Now, Starfield is obviously the big Bethesda joint. Todd Howard working on it, kind of the space equivalent of Fallout and Elder Scrolls, apparently. Mm-hmm. Redfall is a slightly more interesting one. That one is. Do you know the details on Redfall?
More or less, it's a Arkham Arcane. It's a Arcane Austin joint. They're the guys that developed Dishonored. Yep. So reasonably, I would be super excited for this. But from my understanding, it's not necessarily a straight up immersive sim. It's a multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a 4-player, probably looter shooter, man.
Yeah, and it's like that's not what I want from Arcane. They are so good at immersive sims, and
I hope they get it together and it's a decent project. But I don't. Personally, on my radar, I know Starfield is at the top of many lists. It is not even on my radar. Although honestly, I did dip my fucking toe into Elder Scrolls for the first time, so maybe
I'll play it. But honestly, I've kind of reached to the point where nothing's ever going to capture the magic of Skyrim for the first time when you're like 13 ever again.
Right.
So I'll play it. I like Bethesda's games. And I love Arcane's games, but I'm not excited for Redfall, which makes me sad because I adore that studio.
Yeah. It didn't have, that was like, they closed out the last Microsoft Bethesda press conference with Redfall. They wanted to make a big impact, and I think everybody collectively shrugged their shoulders and said, okay, sure, show us some time.
One thing I don't get, I understand these development studios, they probably get fatigued making the same kind of game over and over, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's fatiguing. They want to change it up. They want to be more creative. But it gets to the point where they're so good at what they do, just keep doing what you're doing because you make it better every time. And I just want more of it. Mm-hmm. If they put out a Dishonored 3 tomorrow, I would buy it without question. No trailer, nothing. Just give it to me. But Redfall is going to take some convincing.
Right. No, I think you're right completely.
Yeah. Anyways.
Let's talk about some crazy shit. PlayStation Studios.
Did you make that picture?
I did.
I like it.
Listen, so if you're listening to the version of this and not watching it, we have a nice little interface that I control here via Steam Deck and a picture editing program. And we have like little thumbnails that we put up under us just to spice things up. It's not that fun. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and it's a lot of like 2 boxes with people fucking talking in your face, and that's not very interesting. So we try to have little thumbnails and splice video in whenever we can. I made a little fucking PlayStation sign with a little movie and TV indicators so you could see what we're talking about. It's something there. It's better than a fucking blank screen and just
I like it.
My pretty face and Colleen's okay face.
You get to see Corvo sometimes though. You get to see my dog walking around in the background, so that's a treat for watching the video version.
That does make a difference. So the head of PlayStation Studios announced last week that there are 10 different IPs currently in the works for TV shows or movies. We know about 4 or 5 of them. He name dropped 2 or 3 more, and there's 4 or 5 mystery projects still in the works. So we're gonna run down what they talked about and what we know about. So we already have Uncharted, a movie that is a fucking success. Did you see that Uncharted movie?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, me either. I'm sure it's great. So Uncharted is
sure.
there. Last of Us HBO series in the works. Pedro Pascal.
Wait.
Yeah, looks incredible. Helmed by the guy who does The Hangover 2, but more importantly, Chernobyl.
It's Pedro Pascal, and if you remember the girl from Game of Thrones, in the later seasons, she's like the young leader of the house with like a bear symbol.
Yeah.
She gets killed by
Mormonts.
the giant. Yeah, the Mormonts. It's that girl as Ellie.
Yeah. Should be really good. Looks super promising. There's been a lot of no trailer yet, but hey, maybe tomorrow. Last of Us,
maybe.
Twisted Metal, which we're gonna dive into in a little bit because there's some big Twisted Metal news. The other things that were talked about were Ghost of Tsushima, which makes perfect sense. God of War, which is now officially headed to Amazon. Horizon, now officially headed to Netflix. You can't see
I'll
it.
be honest, man. I don't want a Horizon show.
Oh,
I think the games
but
are
you
good.
do. But you do. And then Gran Turismo, which is a really interesting one. Which leaves us, I think, 3 or 4 additional slots for other things. They're going to work their way in. So we'll take some guesses maybe in a couple minutes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Twisted Metal because they have... Twisted Metal is the furthest along in development out of all of these outside of Last of Us and Uncharted, which is already released. And just the other day, or I think today maybe, yesterday, Twisted Metal announced that Will Arnett is going to be playing or voicing CGI Sweet Tooth, the crazy clown man, which adds to an already stacked roster of the cast. So here's what we have so far. We have Will Arnett as Sweet Tooth. Anthony Mackie is in a role called John Doe, which we believe is the lead role. Nev Campbell from Scream or Party of Five, if you're an old man like me. Stephanie Beatrice, who is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And Thomas Hayden Church, your boy from Spider-Man, Sandman. More importantly, Sideways with Paul Giamatti. Are all tied on. So there's a lot of like actual Hollywood talent involved with this show. It's a 30-minute action comedy. And it's for Peacock, interestingly enough. And then it is being written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who worked on Deadpool, Zombieland, and most recently Six Underground, the Netflix movie.
I haven't seen that.
Me either. And then it's at least the first director has been announced, and it's a guy, Sakurai, who's worked on the Eric Andre show in his spin-off movie Bad Trip. So it's got some talent attached to it, man. Dude. It's a really wild combination. I'm wondering what the tone is going to be like. It's something that I'm immediately excited to see a trailer for. I have no idea what to expect. I'm a huge Twisted Metal fan, and if there's anything that comes out of this, goddamn, I hope it's a fucking video game tie-in. I think they need it. We haven't had a Twisted Metal since Twisted Metal 2013, which was just kind of a soft reboot, which was actually pretty good. I played the fuck out of it on PS3.
You know, I've never played a Twisted Metal game.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. Car combat, shooting machine guns, twisted story.
Hey, man, I've got Destruction All-Stars. I think I'm set.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
I'm set.
Number 1 Destruction All-Stars fan. What do you think the other IPs are going to be?
Do you want my guess? Do you really want my guess?
Just go fucking say it.
An animated Sly Cooper show.
It would be a hit. It would be a huge hit.
You do know that there was an announced anime Sly Cooper series at one point. No. And there's a trailer for it on YouTube. It was announced June 14th in 2017, right?
No way.
It was going to be an animated show with 52 episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be out in 2019, the first half of the season, and then the second half in July 2020. And then it just went dark. Everything went dark. There were reports of it changing from a animated TV show to an animated movie, but it's just been completely dark. You can still look up the trailer and watch it on YouTube. It's by Technicolor, but there's been no reports of it in years. So maybe they're just sitting on a Sly Cooper TV show and they're just gonna be like, hey, let's drop it. I don't know. I kind of hope, but then again, I kind of hope not, because I'm a Sly purist and I want Sly as it was.
Well, we saw what they did to Ratchet, and that movie wasn't so great. But it
I
did
did
give us
not
the
watch that movie.
reboot of the game, which was really, really good. That tied in. It was the game based on the movie, based on the game.
Based on the game. Yeah.
And it ended up being really solid. So I could see them dipping their toes back into Ratchet. Maybe Jack or Jack and Daxter, or just Daxter could get something. Sackboy is a marketable character. There are a couple that I wrote down, and I was like, as I wrote them down, as I was looking through the list of IPs, I was like, holy fuck, any of these would work. It's incredible how many of these Sony IPs would work fantastically as movies or TV shows. And they honestly get better and better. SOCOM could be such an easy tie-in for like a military movie. Obviously, some sort of Navy SEAL things. Killzone?
Yeah. Oh, Killzone would be cool.
Futuristic sci-fi movie. Resistance.
I actually think the Ratchet and Clank movie doing poorly is what scared off the Sly Cooper show. Because the Sly Cooper show was supposed to release a little bit after the movie, and the movie came out, and it was... And I think the Sly Cooper show was toast from there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But just give me a second and, envision a Resistance Fall of Man movie.
That'd be good.
It'd be so
That'd be good.
It would be almost as good as what I think is the biggest slam dunk of all, an Infamous movie.
Oh, wait. Infamous movie, you think?
Yeah. I mean, that story
really
lends
good.
itself to a fucking hour and a half, 2 hour long flick. Guy finding his powers, fighting through the city, being a boss.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
As long as it's Cole. I really like Cole.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Also, I do want to say, I want to correct myself. The Sly Cooper, I had it backward. It was supposed to be a movie that was announced for 2016 in 2014. So the trailer's from January 28th, 2014 that you can see on YouTube. It was going to be a movie, then it changed to a TV show, then it went dark.
Got it.
Well, Infamous would be insane. I love Infamous. I want more Infamous. Everything Sucker Punch does, I adore. They have not put something out that I don't love.
Yeah, it's great. You know what they should do? They should make a movie based off of that Spider-Man game.
You think they could get away with that?
They might be popular.
How do you think they would do that? Would it be like a first-person movie where you could like see him swinging through?
I don't know. There's no frame of reference for something like this. It's a breaking idea. Sony, call me.
I bet that Tom Holland guy would be a good choice for Spider-Man.
You mean Tom Holland from Uncharted? They've already got him on Sony's payroll.
Holy crap. How does that work out? That's perfect. They don't even have to find a new routing number for his direct deposit.
Oh my god. Incredible. All right. Exciting stuff. Any other ideas for Sony TV shows? Just balls in on Sly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always balls in on Sly.
All right. Speaking of things that we're both balls in on.
Balls out for.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Star Wars Fan Fest was this past weekend. And among the things announced was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The sequel,
can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited too, but I am not more excited today than I was 3 days ago because of the trailer. The trailer was fine. It's the look and sound of good enough. It is unremarkable in every way. It's a CGI trailer. It's a fucking minute 10 seconds long with its opening and closing credits and teases. And it does absolutely nothing. My PP stay soft for this trailer. What do you think?
Not mine.
Hard as a rock.
Listen, hard. I am very excited for this game. Fallen Order was one of my favorite games the year that came out. Here recently, more than ever, I have been super into Star Wars. I've actually been pestering my friends to come with me to Galaxy's Edge for like a weekend. None of them will do it. They're lame.
I've been to Galaxy's Edge. It's a fucking slapper.
I want to go so bad.
It's so cool.
But I love Star Wars. I love Cal Kestis. I can't wait to see more.
Me too.
Oh no! I was gonna say her name, the sister.
Third sister?
Not the sister. No, the Marine. What's the name of the girl that you pick up from?
I know BD1 and I know Cal Kestis, and that's it.
Oh, I can't remember her name, but the girl.
Yeah. It was a good video game. It was fun.
It was.
The problem with this Jedi Survivor thing is that your game comes out in a year. It's like we were just talking about with Arkham. Come on, show me some fucking gameplay. Give me something. The problem is that you gave me a 60-second trailer that shows me nothing for a game that we already knew was in existence and already had the title leak for. Like, there was no new announcement, and I get that, but you need to figure pop culture in. You need to go to Reddit/r/gaming leaks and rumors, and if you see that your game is already fucking leaked out and everyone knows it's Jedi Survivor, then a title reveal trailer doesn't really cut it, man. You gotta give us some fucking goods.
You know what I think?
What?
This is getting over into my predictions for later, but I think they announced this for the Star Wars event, and they're going to show it during Summer Games Fest.
I'll take that bet. We'll get there. That's enough of me ragging on Jedi Survivor. I'm excited. Fallen Order 2, man. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's a must play. It's a day one pickup. I loved the first one. I'm being harder on it than I should be. I love the game, and I'm excited for it. I just don't love their reveal. I think it's a little lackluster.
At least it's better than Eclipse, where they haven't even started development on it yet.
At least I've seen more of fucking Eclipse than I have of this game.
Have you, though?
Kind of. I don't know.
Hey, man, I saw Eclipse in person when it was revealed.
Oh, yeah, you were there.
Get on my
you're
level.
Basically a Star Wars Eclipse master.
I am. I know everything about that game.
That's true. All right, let's get to I think the most fucking important news. And here's the deal. Listen, we had to make a call. It's action-packed. Today's June 1st. We're recording on June 1st. Usually we recap May, but two big things happened today, and we couldn't leave them out. Not when we're getting this episode up so soon. We got to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The second trailer was announced to be coming this morning, yesterday. And let me tell you, this trailer did not fucking disappoint. Oh my god, it is really sick. So we already knew quite a bit about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They had that live action trailer that led to a little bit of gameplay and the reveal of the starters about 2 or 3 months ago now. And today they have a 3-minute trailer that is packed full of shit. There are 2 incredibly hot new professors. For the first time in a Pokemon game, the professor is different depending on the version that you choose, which is pretty cool. The 3 starters are showcased. There's 3 new Pokemon showcased as well. I went a little hard and I updated the slides and I put in more than I needed to. So you have the 2 professors, one for Scarlet, one for Violet. And you have the 3 new Pokemon revealed. And it's Smoliv, this little olive-looking green guy. Pawmi, which is like a fat cat. A wide cat. It's not really fat, because fat is Lechonk. And it's this little hog Pokemon. If you are listening to this and not looking at the trailer or the image that's up on the screen, please just Google Pokemon Lechonk, Lechonk. It's your new favorite Pokemon. It's everything. It's also the thumbnail to this video. Spoiler alert. Really, really cool Pokemon designs. I can be really judgmental with Pokemon designs. Right now, that they have shown officially these 3, the starting 3, and then they also showed off the box legendaries, which is pretty cool as well. They're both kind of dinosaur-looking things. One of them is Corridon, and the other one is Miradon. I'm probably pronouncing those incorrectly, but one's Scarlet, one's Violet. One kind of looks like a Tyrannosaurus. The other one kind of looks like a floating amphibious type of dinosaur. But no misses. No misses so far. Everything looks really, really slick. And the game itself looks incredible too. It's clearly built on the bones of Pokemon Legends Arceus. The thing that I want to talk about a little bit here is how weird it is that we're getting Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet here in the same year. And I'm worried about what that means for the titular game list. I feel like this year I'm going to be a little split. Which game am I going to like more? My worry is that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet iterate on what Pokemon Legends Arceus has already given us, and that Pokemon Legends Arceus is forgotten. Not just this year, but in general. And I really hope that's not the case, because every time I think about Scarlet and Violet in my head personally, I'm going to attribute much of what I like about it to what Legends Arceus introduced to us. I think that Legends walked so that this game could run. What do you think about that idea?
I think I already forgot about Arceus.
Oh man, you're not a Pokemon fan.
I haven't played Pokemon. I haven't played Arceus. Haven't played Sword and Shield.
Arceus
haven't watched this trailer.
Changes the format of Pokemon in such a gigantic way, and the fact that this game is going to iterate on it so quickly in the same calendar year, I'm really sad that I think that game is going to be forgotten, and I want to make sure that it gets its due. And this game, Scarlet and Violet, need to blow me out of the fucking water.
I mean, Arceus was a January release. Arguably, anything released in January is forgotten.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It is the dumping ground. But it's sad, and I'm really, really, honestly excited for this shit. I cannot wait.
I'm happy for you. I probably won't be playing it, but it's awesome for people who love Pokemon.
That's okay. We got box art, and we got a release date. November 18th, worldwide release. Really cool. And
think it'll get delayed?
No, Pokemon is pretty much fucking ironclad. They don't really delay.
I think so too.
Nintendo doesn't really delay in general. Once something gets like a numbered date, like it's coming out on this day, you're pretty much good. I mean, obviously you're going to be like, well, Zelda. I get it. Like Zelda has been delayed, but they haven't.
What about Advanced Wars?
There's an Advanced War going on right now. It's delayed for that. True. Did you hear the thing that happened with Advanced Wars about how like it was literally just delayed just out of like, hey, maybe it's not great to have a worldwide release of a war game in the middle of a war. But some people that had like I don't know if it was something where they had downloaded and preloaded the game and not
a couple
turned
of
their
people
Switch on.
Got it.
Yeah, and they turned their Switch on and the game was just available to play. So they had the full version of Advanced Wars already ready to go, and that game's not even dated right now. It's just sitting there in the can ready to release.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, I'm afraid we'll, release this in poor taste, and then here we're gonna have Activision releasing Modern Warfare 2 in the next.
Fuck.
How many years do you think it is till we get a Call of Duty about what's going on in Ukraine? 6 years.
Oh, that was nice. You're being reasonable.
Do you say 3?
Yeah. I bet they're working on that thing. They're taking notes in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Probably.
Big brain. Big brain. All right, so Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, honestly, really exciting stuff. And a clinic on what to include in your fucking trailer. So many cool things shown off. I loved it. If you haven't seen it already, go watch it. It's 3 minutes long and just chock full of new Pokemon and new locales and beautiful visuals and information. It is exactly what you're supposed to do. But now let's talk about Sonic Frontiers. Sonic the Hedgehog is back. For the first time since the lackluster 2019 Sonic Forces, they've been working on this open world Sonic game, and this month IGN is doing this whole big thing. So we had like a little teaser trailer a while back of like story and a tiny bit of gameplay. Yesterday there was a teaser for a full gameplay trailer which dropped today. There is 7 minutes of gameplay available on IGN's YouTube right now. It looks
Go ahead. Fine.
Okay. Now
I don't know if I'm the right person to talk about this since I've never played a Sonic game.
Okay, as somebody who's played all the Sonic games, even Sonic 06, as previously mentioned in this show, this game looks like some of the best Sonic and some of the worst Sonic that I've ever seen in my life. And I am like so here's the deal. When this game comes out, I buy it day one, I play it to completion, I stream it the whole 9 yards. Big Sonic fan.
Completion?
Yeah. So it's roll credits. I love Sonic games. I love 3D platformers. I've been playing Sonic since I was a fucking Genesis baby. I can't help myself. And I like all the bad ones too. I love Sonic 06. I'm just playing that for the first time. Sonic Adventure is in my top 5 games of all time. No doubt about it. Wow. I like Sonic Heroes. I like it, all of it. All of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The thing about this Sonic game is that it's a 3D open world. And it looks a little bit like, I guess like... You want to say it or you want me to say it?
It doesn't.
It does.
I think they They missed it. They missed it on the art style somewhere.
It looks a little bit like Breath of the Wild. And here's the thing. It's a wide open world. There's a bunch of objects and rails and ramps and shit like that all over the place. It's a very bizarre looking game to have Sonic running around in. Sonic the character looks out of place in the environment. The environment is going for like a certain layer of photorealism where outside of like the grass and the rock formations, there's a bunch of like alien structures and technology. It all looks very strange. My biggest gripe with this so far is that what I like about Sonic is I like a hub world, an overworld is the best in Sonic games. And then a bunch of drastically varied stages, I think, is what makes a Sonic video game. The fact that I'm looking at what could be just the entire world right now and the whole thing just kind of looks like a green forest really fucking worries me. I'm worried that I'm seeing 90% of this video game on my screen at any given moment in this 7-minute trailer. And if that's the case, I think this is going to come up way short. And I think that's the biggest gripe that I had with Pokemon Legends Arceus too. Although it did kind of figure it out in its last act, a lot of those biomes kind of look the same despite it not being a persistent open world. I think with Sonic Origins, they desperately need to work in like a snow world, a desert world. Some of the best stuff, I mean, when I think about Sonic, the first thing I think about, yes, is Green Hill Zone, which I guess this mimics. But the second thing I think about is Casinopolis, you know, the casino world. And some of these like outrageous things. Like I want Sonic to have a snowboard and a snow level and a desert level. There's a lot of variety that's missing here. And it's fucked up that in a 7-minute trailer, I'm already bored with what I'm seeing. Now, if it plays well, I'm in. I'll play it to completion.
You know, and I'm sitting here and I'm like watching this trailer right now.
Yeah.
Or the gameplay, and I'm like, what is the goal? What is he doing? Like, what is his end goal? Is it just to explore the countryside?
Well, I'm sure there's a story with robots and stuff, but
I don't know. I like I said, I'm not the best to speak on Sonic stuff because I'm not an experienced Sonic person. But it looks like a tech demo. I don't know. Something about it is just like, meh. I'm not into
it. I get it. I am really I'm into it, and I'm being harder on it than it needs to be, which is kind of my MO. Like at this point, I've done 6-7 episodes of GameList, and I realize that I'm very critical of video games, despite like adoring them even with their follies. Like that's the thing, is I'm the first person to call out a video game as being bad, and I'm also the first person to be a fan of bad video games, but it doesn't keep me from talking down on them. And I look around this world, I see a bunch of stuff that I really want to do, but I'm worried that it's a one-trick pony. So it's a tough call. I hope that this game has more to show.
Maybe this will be Sonic Arceus, you know?
I mean, honestly, if we get a Pokemon, if this game comes out and it's just this world that I'm looking at and not much more, but then they use that to iterate on and create a world with drastically different biomes, and they make a Pokemon Scarlet Violet to the Sonic Frontiers, you know, Pokemon Legends Arceus, then I'm in. Yeah. If this game plays well, I'm happy, because the last couple really haven't. But nonetheless, it's nice to be seeing some new Sonic, and I am genuinely excited for the video game. It looks fun. Like that's what I'm really looking for. It's like fun. It's going to be fun to solve some of these puzzles and grind these rails and make these jumps and kill these enemies, and that's what I like most about Sonic video games.
See, when I look at this gameplay, I'm kind of reminded of the Pathless.
Sure.
But without the art style that makes the Pathless interesting.
Yeah, it's got a weird... it's not bland, but it's like a lifeless tone, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't have character. It's just...
Yeah,
it's just like a computer program that made an environment, and they stuck these rails in here.
Right, and it's like, and that's what Sonic is to me. Is like I love those lush, beautiful, and I'm using bad words to describe them because this could be described as lush and beautiful because it's a big green forest setting. But I like those like vibrant, colorful, absurd things that are available for me. Shout out to IGN for supplying that video. Their watermark just popped up on the
Partnered with IGN, bro.
This first. We gave them credit. We told them where we got that information.
But yeah,
but that's Sonic Frontiers. I think honestly, that game, I want to say it's going to review better than most Sonic games have in the past decade, and I hope that's the case. But
yeah,
I'm weary. I am indeed. But listen, that's video game news. Again, a ton more video game news is on the horizon. I'll tell you that much.
And that's why we did that today. We did this today and covered the Pokemon stuff because we might be overwhelmed up in the coming month or two. So
for sure,
it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I always love summer for the news.
Yeah. This is, I mean, we are a day away from E3, what used to be E3, essentially. Sony conference is tomorrow. The worst thing that we could do would be to shortchange Pokemon and Sonic in a week and a half when we talk about things, when we already have this information available to us. So covering that stuff today before we get into looking ahead at the month of June. So we're just going to crush through everything that's coming out that we're looking forward to in the month of June right now. Then we will look at, obviously we'll start off with what the offerings are for PlayStation Plus and Xbox games with Gold. We'll look at the games that are releasing in the month of June. Then we will talk about our predictions for the big shows coming up in the next couple
Exciting.
weeks. Place a couple bets, and then of course we'll be back in 2 weeks with a show midway through the month recapping Summer Games Week. We need a word that is not Summer Games Fest. It's not E3. We need, how do we describe what is upon us right now? Summer gaming season?
Summer games. Gaming.
Well,
the
can we call it
games of
E3,
summer.
but it stands for something different than the Electronic Entertainment Expo? That way we can keep the name, but not the stigma.
Exciting electronic engagement.
No, it has to be something like, it has to be like an event. Like the Expo is the event. It's the exciting it's the exciting electronics experience.
Is that not what E3 was?
No, it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Oh. I don't know.
Classic.
My brain just went blank.
Right.
But yeah.
Let's talk about what is coming out in June. And honestly, not as bad as May. May was lackluster. There was nothing coming out. We each played two new releases last month. We'll have more for you. Here's what's coming through in June. Starting off pretty strong, if I'm being honest. The first thing on the docket is technically out right now. So it's June 1st for phones. You guys don't have phones, but it's also June 2nd for PC, and that's Diablo Immortal. Free-to-play Diablo game, takes place in between Diablo 2 and 3. We talked about it last month, or maybe the month before here on the podcast, but it's worth noting that I went to BlizzCon 2018 and 2019, and I played this game both times, which was pretty cool. And the first time that I played it, I thought that game had a lot of promise and felt almost finished, to the point of when I played it in 2019, I thought, this game's going to come out. They're just going to shadow drop it during this event. And I played it again, and they didn't. And now here we are 3 years after that, and it's finally coming out. What I mean to say
you
here...
went to BlizzCon?
Listen, it was before they showed their ass. I didn't know they were all scumbags.
Gross.
I didn't know they were all scumbags over there. So what I mean to say, though, is that this game may have legs. It's had enough time in the can. I think it's been cooked the right way. I think it might be really fun. I'm going to withhold my judgment until I play it on keyboard and mouse tomorrow. I downloaded it on my phone. I might check it out a little bit tonight, make a character and all that. But I'm honestly really excited for Diablo Immortal. Do you have any Diablo experience?
None. I'll play 4 when it comes out.
4-player hack and slash action RPG. Play this one with me on stream. I'm streaming it. Twitch.tv/Jake Twitchin.
When?
Tomorrow, right after we do our show. That's right.
Oh, yeah, I might join in.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. But then, about a week later, on March 10th, on June 10th, Mario Strikers Battle League. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. We don't need to talk about this. We know it's coming out. We talked about it at the top of the show. I've played the tutorial. It looks good. It looks promising. be on the lookout. I'm gonna have many more impressions on this. I probably won't speak about them that much because it kind of happened during. Literally comes out the same day as the Xbox Bethesda presser, so we'll do our GameList podcast. But on the July episode of GameList, I'll definitely be talking quite a bit about Mario Strikers Battle League. On the same day, The Quarry comes out. I skipped this when I was making the list of things that are coming soon, and Colin specifically said, add this to the list. So tell me.
Yes.
What the fuck?
So Supermassive?
Super Giant.
I don't. No. Supergiant is Hades.
Oh yeah.
Supermassive. Yeah, it's Supermassive Games. They made Until Dawn. They made the Dark Pictures anthology. And they're still working on this. The Quarry is more of a full-size game that is a spiritual successor to Until Dawn. So it's these guys at a quarry in a like summer camp, and things go badly. So this is like the next step for their formula.
So many questions. So is the Dark Pictures anthology not the spiritual successor to Until Dawn?
Well, kind of, but this is like Until Dawn was a full game. Dark Pictures anthology, those games are kind of short. They're like 5-hour experiences. This one's supposed to be longer.
Okay.
So they're all the same like type of play. Like they're kind of walking simulators, choice based, just small things, QTEs. But they're horror games. Yeah. They're really fun. I really enjoyed these games because normally there's a perfect ending where everyone survives, and then there's like endings where no one survives or a couple people do.
Butterfly effect, something like that.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. That was their big push on Until Dawn was the butterfly effect. So I'm very excited for this game. I'll be playing this on stream. I love these games. They're really fun and they're really engaging with the audience.
And they come out on the same day, so you'll be doing The Quarry, I'll be doing Mario Strikers. We'll have a lot of new releases to talk about. There's actually a surprising amount of stuff coming out that I plan on checking out, and I think Colin will be digging into as well. But I'm glad you brought up The Quarry because this was not on my radar at all, and it looks kind of cool.
It is. It looks
worth
really
mentioning that Fall Guys is going free to play for all platforms and coming for the first time on June 21st to Switch and Xbox platforms, as well as getting a PS5 version.
I cannot believe it's not already on Switch and Xbox. I could have sworn it was
already not free.
That's true. I got it for free.
Hey, count it. That's right. It was on PS Plus for that big launch.
2
days
was
later,
fun at the time.
On the 23rd, Sonic Origins Collection. We talked about that a lot last week.
Yet another Sonic train wreck.
It's Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles. And don't worry, the pre-order bonuses are very easy to follow. But that's coming out for too many dollars on the 23rd. The next day,
we talked about that for like an hour in the last episode.
I know. On the 24th is Capcom Fighting Collection. We talked about this 2 episodes ago when it was announced alongside Street Fighter 6. This has a really nice version of Street Fighter 2 included in it, but this is more about the Darkstalkers games. It's got the full collection of all the Darkstalkers series, basically, outside of, I think, 3. And then it also has, most importantly, Super Puzzle Fighter.
Super Puzzle Fighter
and Pocket Fighter too, which is where you use
I love the key art of this game. Most busy key arts I'm not a fan of, but this is just, I don't know what they did to it. It's really nice.
It's slick looking. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think I'm picking it up. On the same day, on the 24th, is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which is Fire Emblem Warriors 2 basically takes place during the Three Houses timeline. And some, I think an alternate universe, something along those lines.
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't kept up with it. Not a huge Warriors fan. I do love Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I probably won't be checking this game out just because I'm just not a fan of the Warriors.
Yeah, you got. It's a very particular group of people, but the first one did well enough to warrant a sequel. So worthy evidently. All right. Then we usually don't really talk about DLC that much, but at the very end of the month on the 30th, there are 2 pretty big pieces of DLC dropping. The long anticipated, I think 5 years in the making, Cuphead DLC, the Delicious Last Course.
Yeah. I love it. DLC, Delicious Last Course.
It's well put together.
It's great.
That comes out on the 30th. And then Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Monster Hunter is a series that I like. am an inch away from getting into at all times. Like, I kind of know it's for me if I just sink the time into it, and I haven't done it so far. But I think Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, you don't play Monster Hunter, do you?
I have in the past.
Do you know, like, Monster Hunter does a great job of making their DLC become like
Large.
this new version of the fucking game. So like when you think of Monster Hunter World, you think about that Iceborne, right? Like that's just like the art that you've seen forever. And I think Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is going to be something that we see a lot of over the next couple of years, because these games have fucking legs. They have a fan base, and I think a lot of people are really excited for this big chunk of DLC incoming.
I completely agree.
Pretty exciting stuff. I think I might get into it at some point. Let's take a look at the PlayStation Plus offerings. Pretty good. This is the last time. This is officially the last time we'll see the regular PlayStation Plus offerings. I think we're going to have the roof knocked off of what these look like in the future at tomorrow's show. But for right now, fucking God of War. 2018's God of War for free for PlayStation Plus subscribers.
That Ragnarok marketing starting.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's coming out this year.
Then we're also getting a Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker, which sounds like a fake game, but I promise you it's real. And then we're getting Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, which honestly, I'm excited to check out. And that's a PlayStation fucking 5 game. I skipped it when it was released. I know it got kind of subpar reviews, but that's a cool enough Smash Brothers clone that I bet that's a night of fun with some friends. I think that's a great offering from PlayStation.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Solid month.
But you know what we have to do after we look at the PlayStation offering?
Yeah.
Colin doesn't like to say the bad words. I was gonna push it over to you.
Oh.
It's the shit show at the Fuck Factory.
Oh.
Here's a bunch of games that aren't worth mentioning. That's not true. Super Meat Boy is a good video game. Haven't heard of the other three. I'm sure they're fine. I don't know why Xbox even bothers. Just stop.
Wait. Just so the audio listeners, Avon Colony.
Yeah.
Project High Rise.
Yeah.
Super Meat Boy and
Pascals.
Rascals.
I bet it's Rascals.
You can't really tell because the rating is covering up the actual title of the game.
Yeah, it's very good box art.
It looks like two city builders and then Super Meat Boy in a game I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's all very impressive up against fucking God of War and anything else with God of War.
Yeah.
Oh, God, they don't know how to get it together. But
yikes.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day they will. Now let's talk. I think the first thing, when we're talking about schedule and things that are coming out, let's just take a look at the events that are coming out. If you guys are listening to us, if you're watching us react, I'll be reacting to all of these, probably with Colin for as many of them as I can wrangle them for. But basically, Thursday, June 2nd, that's tomorrow. Today, if you're listening to this on a podcast app or on YouTube, Sony State of Play at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's Thursday, June 2nd. The Summer Games Fest, which is the big general show, is on June 9th. It's a week from tomorrow, a week from Thursday, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase is a week from this Monday. It's June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So those are the three shows that are coming up. We also have a Nintendo Direct potentially maybe coming someday. We don't know. Nothing announced, but Nintendo is like that. They'll, on Sunday night at 7 p.m., they're going to be like, hey, by the way, Tuesday at 10 a.m., Nintendo Direct, hour long. And we just have to adjust our schedules, and we shall. But I will be live for all of them at twitch.tv/JakeTwitchin. And I know, Colin, you're going to definitely be around for the Sony one. You're definitely going to hop in for Summer Games Fest. And then if you're around for Xbox Bethesda, you might as well. We're doing some GameList mini, baby.
Yeah, I'll be there more than likely. When is the Xbox one again?
That's the 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Well,
it's a Monday.
Yeah.
Play it by ear.
Yeah.
At the very least, we'll have some reactions for you, and we'll be talking about all of that on another show about 2 weeks from today, which is really exciting. But when we have the opportunity, let's just kind of talk about what we might see at these. We can be kind of general, kind of loose. Here's the thing about these predictions is that this is all kind of nebulous. Obviously, this used to be more straightforward when it was E3, and E3 had a press event for Activision, for Ubisoft, for EA, for Microsoft, for Nintendo, and for Sony. And there was like 6 big ones and 7 small ones and announcements throughout the week. And now things are a little more spread out. They're under a different umbrella. Jeff Keighley has officially planted his fucking flag, and even the State of Play tomorrow is now under the Summer Games Fest moniker, which is fucking insane.
It is really cool.
Keighley also announced that, like the E3 of old, there's a in-person Summer Games Fest event for members of the press. So they're flying out people from Game Informer, from MinMax, from Easy Allies, from Kind of Funny Games, from all of these different press outlets, IGN, the whole 9 yards, are going out to LA for Summer Games Fest and playing on things behind the scenes. So Keighley has murdered E3 and is now stabbing its corpse repeatedly.
You know, I haven't checked my email recently. I should check it to see if I got an email from Keighley.
You and me both. I bet we're going to be invited. The GameList guys are headed to town. Behind closed doors, baby. All right. But pretty exciting stuff. I think that honestly, I think in 5 years, mark my words, in 2027, Summer Games Fest will be E3 reborn. It'll be a full trade show. It'll be behind closed doors press event. I don't think the public will be allowed. I think that it'll be a big destination for networking, and I think the E3 of old will return in full under Keighley's power. I think it's happening. That the final E3? Nail in the coffin for E3 was the fact that he's having press fly out there for behind closed doors presentations, because that's when E3 started to lose its footing, when it started allowing the public in there. This is a trade show. It's for investors to learn. It's for journalists to report. It's for games to be announced. And Keighley fucking gets that, and he's not a money grubbing asshole like this ESA was with their show. I think it's really good. I think it's really healthy.
And you know, I have seen a little discourse on Twitter recently, people mad about the last Game Awards and the amount of like ads and stuff that he ran. But you got to think about it, like he's got to pay for this stuff somehow.
For sure.
And unless he wants to make publishers and developers pay, he's got to get ads, right? And I think that's the best way to go about it, because if Sony's having to pay to be there and Microsoft's having to pay to be there, they're not going to be there. They can just do it on their own.
Yeah.
But if they don't have to pay, you get everything under one roof. Yeah, you have to deal with some ads, but
for sure,
you know, it's still fun in the end.
It's still well worth it. For sure. For sure. All right. You got any... Oh, so just table setting for these bets. Because it's also kind of loosey-goosey and there's different shows, there are things that if you predict for Sony that they're going to show this game and then Sony doesn't show it, but it pops up, Sony's game pops up at Summer Games Fest, credit where credit's due. Your game was fucking announced, you know?
Yeah.
We're not here to be sticklers on this. You don't need to say Activision's going to show Call of Duty at Microsoft's event, and then when Call of Duty shows up at PlayStation's event, you're not getting credit. It's not like that. It's not like that. We're making predictions for basically the next 2 weeks for everything under this new moniker of Summer Games Fest /
almost
E3.
2 months, because Xbox is in July, right?
No, Xbox is in June 12th. It's a week from
on
Monday.
A Sunday?
No, it's a week from Monday.
Am I dumb?
Yeah. It's coming right up. It's just around the corner.
Really?
It's 3 days after summer. It's 3 days after Summer Games Fest.
No. The 12th is a Monday, or the 12th is a Sunday.
Oh, I just got my days
12th.
wrong then.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Okay, so the next 2 weeks. No, we're good.
It's a Sunday, not a Monday. My fault.
Okay.
My fault.
No, we're good. Can I have a free bet?
I mean, you can have a free prediction. I'm not going to bet against it if it's free.
Okay. My free one is Sly Cooper.
I should have taken that. All right. So here's how the bets are going to work. We're just going to make some predictions. And if I feel strongly that your prediction is incorrectly, I want to make a wager against it if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is.
Obviously.
And you can do the same for me. So you think Sly Cooper is going to pop up at the Sony State of Play that's 29 minutes long and is confirmed to be featuring third parties primarily?
No, not necessarily the State of Play, just within the next 2 weeks. It may be at the Xbox event. It may be, at the Embracer thing.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Maybe Nintendo Direct.
My safe prediction is Final Fantasy 16. My long shot prediction for the specifically for the State of Play and maybe Summer Games Fest is we're gonna get a Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2 cheeser. I think 16 is a sure thing. I think Remake 2 also rears its head. It's the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy 7 in particular. I think that this is going down. It's time to show
man.
it.
It's the 20th anniversary of Sly Cooper. So
Jesus Christ. All right. Do you think we see Last of Us anything? The Last of Us anything in the next 2 weeks?
Hold on. Is this counting as you can bet against me? Because that was not on my list.
It's loose. What do you think?
I think we'll see something Last of Us, whether it be Last of Us remake, or the show. I think we'll see something Last of Us.
Oh, the show's
soon.
a good call. I think it's Last of Us remake packed with Last of Us factions is my guess.
Yeah. Which also, I want to preface this as it's my belief that PlayStation's having a state of play now, and then after everything's died down a little bit, they're popping up with the showcase in August or September, and that's going to be their big
showcase in
show.
September again. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would bet on a time frame, but we're not close enough yet, and I know I'll lose that. Where do you think about Final Fantasy? You think those are both popping up? You think one's popping up? You think neither?
16 is totally popping up.
Yeah.
7 Remake 2, maybe. I'd probably say definitely if it were another year out, but I don't know. I don't. My thing is, I don't know what kind of scope they're shooting for with Remake 2. Considering it's supposed to kind of open up after 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on how big their scope is, I think, before we see it. And considering I'm not a Final Fantasy VII expert, but I do know they blew it out of the water for the first part, it's possible they could turn this into like an 8-part game. I don't know.
I think 3 at minimum, 4 potentially.
Yeah.
How confident are you in it not showing up? You want to bet against it or no?
Oh, yeah, I'll bet against that.
You'll bet against Remake 2 showing up?
Yeah, it's not showing up.
Have you played Remake 1?
Yeah.
All the way through?
Yeah, all the way through.
You beat Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah.
Did you love it?
Yeah.
Oh, dope, dude.
Yeah, I really liked it.
All right.
The only reason I didn't get the platinum on it is because I had... Okay.
If they announce Final Fantasy VII Remake 2...
Okay.
You have to record a spoil list with me for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay, deal.
Fuck yeah.
That's a deal. Okay, I gotta write these down.
Yeah, you write it down. You're the keeper of the notes. That's fucking awesome. I didn't have the idea in my head to talk Final Fantasy VII with you. I don't think I even knew that you played through that game. That's super exciting.
If you remember the first time I hopped into your stream, or one of the first times, you were playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, I love this game.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. So dope. They're going to announce that shit. You watch. You watch, chat and listeners. Viewers. You watch.
Okay, what are you going to do if I win?
Interesting.
Return of the Obra Dinn spoil list.
Ooh. Fuck it. I'm in. I think I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident that 7 Remake's coming. I feel good about it, man.
Okay.
I think
either way, you guys are getting more content. So
new spoil list. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Anything else on the Sony front that you have predicted?
Yes, actually. One moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I said, Spider-Man 2 trailer.
What's coming first? We know, is the Spider-Man 2 coming before Wolverine?
I imagine so, yes. They both had a 2023 mark on them. What I'm thinking is the main team made Spider-Man 2018. Then they had a smaller team make Miles Morales. Yeah. I think the main team is working on Spider-Man 2, and then the small team is going and working on Wolverine.
I think not. I think we don't see that. I think it's not far-fetched. I think in 29 minutes of a state of play that's mostly third-party, I think we're lucky if we see 2 first-party Sony games during it that are non-VR video games.
Well, think again. There's still Summer Game Fest that it could show up at.
True. But I think as far as that scope goes, my guess is we probably don't see Spider-Man 2. Last of Us is worrisome. I think we don't get a God of War date either. You think we see God of War?
Yes.
You think it's dated?
No.
Okay. Fair. Any other PlayStation stuff? Oh, do you think Final Fantasy 16 will get a demo announced or released? They were big on 15 demos.
Where did they have a 7 remake demo? I don't remember.
No. Oh, well, they had a 7 remake demo about a month before the game came out. But for Final Fantasy 15, they had a demo that released, like, they announced it, they showed off a new trailer, and they said, go play the demo now. And it was like a really early version of the game where you could play through like a tutorial. Then that game came off the market. If you completed it, you got like an in-game item. And then 6 months later, right before the game came out, they gave us another demo, which was a bit more fully featured.
Really quickly before we progress, Spider-Man 2 bet. What are we getting?
I'm not betting Spider-Man. I don't feel strongly enough on either of them.
Okay, and then I don't know about a demo. It's possible. I mean, my thing is, I think there will be a demo of some sort because PlayStation is pushing the mandatory demos, and they have the Final Fantasy 16 like marketing deal. So it only makes sense for them to be pushing demos for their marketing deals.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right, let's talk about Xbox and Bethesda.
Real quick, other thing that I have, which this might be more for like a PlayStation showcase, but I think Sony's going to get another Marvel IP.
In addition to Wolverine and...
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet against that.
We probably won't see it till showcase if there is a thing.
Insomniac is doing Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think they give like Naughty Dog something?
I'm thinking like a Fantastic Four game or something.
I feel like I think superhero games outside of like after the nightmare that has kind of become Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers and now kind of Gotham Knights, I think like the 4-player superhero thing is a little bit cursed right now. I think they're maybe veering away from it.
Yeah. That's fair. Just having 4 characters on screen makes people think co-op, even if it's a single player.
Even Suicide Squad is questionable. I'm sure they'll get that game right. It's a talented team over there, but
yeah.
So I gotta guess. I think during this Xbox Bethesda thing, I'm not sure if we get like a trailer or if it's even like considered like a teaser, but I bet we get the title for Elder Scrolls 6. I bet it's like Elder Scrolls 6 Snowstock or.
It's gonna be Hammerfell, I think. Really? I think it's either gonna be Hammerfell or is it Redguard or something like that? I can't remember what the other area is called.
Interesting. Oh yeah, the locations, aren't they?
Because it's Arena, which I don't think Arena was a location, but that was like all of Cyrodiil, and then there was Daggerfall. Morrowind, Oblivion, which actually it's kind of a location. I mean, it's a like the Hell realm.
Yeah.
And then that was set in Cyrodiil. Sorry, Tamriel. All of Tamriel's the continent that was in Arena, and then Cyrodiil was the country that was in Oblivion, and then Skyrim was Skyrim.
Got it.
So based on my knowledge of Elder Scrolls and the geography that they showed in the one teaser years ago, it kind of looked like Hammerfell to me. But
that'd be a good name.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6.
What do you think? You think we get that title?
No.
You want to bet against it?
I think I would bet against that for sure.
All right, I'm confident in my Elder Scrolls bet. If I win, if they announce the Elder Scrolls thing,
you
don't have to stream it. You have to finish Kingdom Hearts 1. All the way through.
How long is that game?
Like 20 hours, 25 hours.
Okay. I'll take that bet.
No deadline or anything like that. And if I lose, I'll play Skyrim the way that you want me to play it. As in...
So you'll get the platinum in Skyrim?
No. But I'll do Skyrim where I don't just mash the MSQ and beat it in 12 hours. I'll do some of like the... We'll talk about it on air, but you can dictate some of the stuff that I do, like class, side quests, things that I dig into.
What if you just play,
Mods.
or what if you just play Dishonored, the first Dishonored?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Fine. Kingdom Hearts 1 for Dishonored. Cool. I like
And
that.
Dishonored's a pretty short game as well, so
Yeah.
you're getting.
Kingdom Hearts is kind of...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't believe you at all, but okay.
It's really
okay.
I really want to win that one because I want you to have to get through Kingdom Hearts 1 so that you can get the baseline of the story, and then I can make you play 2 and you'll learn to love it. This is all long. GameList is actually all just a really long con to get you obsessed with Kingdom Hearts 2.
I mean, realistically, in the end, if we keep making these bets over the years, you'll have forced me through all 1,000 Kingdom Heart games.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the goal.
It's only a matter of time.
All right, so I have like this really stupid thought, but I don't know. I have this written down. It says Halo Infinite will make a big attempt to win people over and fail. I think Xbox, I think Microsoft is listening to the people, and they know that they are short on content, and they're going to put together this big trailer of like classic maps are coming back. Season 2 is ending early, and season 3, 4, and 5 are planned, and here's our roadmap, and it's all just.
Then it will get delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Totally.
My other Xbox guess is that Perfect Dark won't be shown. No, not at all.
Yeah. I agree with that. Perfect Dark's in
it's
development hell right now. They need to keep quiet on that game.
Yeah, they need to shut the fuck up about it for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any Xbox ones?
Yeah, so I have two.
Mm-hmm.
Avowed. Do you remember Avowed? It's the Obsidian joint. Set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, but it's like Skyrim first person. I think we're going to get gameplay for that game.
Yeah, I think it's time. I wouldn't bet against that.
And then second, I think we're going to get Starfield gameplay as well.
Probably to make amends. I think they're showing Starfield for sure because they didn't. They gave that delay last month that we talked about earlier on the show. I think that was so that they could talk about the game without having to say sorry about the delay.
Yeah, and I've got to think if it was planned to be released in November, it's got to be at a somewhat playable state right now.
Oh yeah.
So
do you think we see Fable?
What?
Do you think we see Fable?
I don't know. Playground games, maybe. They're on top of it most of the time with Horizon and everything. So
I've heard it's a problem over there right now.
I can believe it because I mean they've been doing racing games for years. It's got to be a hard
got a lot
transition.
of talent that's not driving games. They got a lot of Forza Horizon people on there for like artists and stuff, but I think for like game design they have some RPG vets in there as well. So I don't know.
I would like hope so. I think that would be fun, but
I'd even like be cool with like Fable. I would be cool with like a story trailer. Like I know I'm usually down on CGI, but I would love to just see the way that they're going because the Fable games actually have a pretty decent amount of like differentiating with like the eras that they take place in. You got a smug look
you already got one CGI trailer for it, and you're ragging on Jedi Survivor.
Okay,
for
that first Fable fucking trailer sucks though. That's a Jedi Survivor, but that's the difference. Is it's like an announcement trailer that nobody saw coming, kind of. For a dormant franchise.
I kind of like the CGI trailer closer to launch rather than years off, just because I know there's an actual game there. They don't have to show it yet. I kind of like getting stuff revealed to me right before it releases, so I don't have to wait forever and ever.
You know what I like? The Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer from last month. Give me
that was
2 minutes of CGI, 2 minutes of gameplay, teaser at the end, a promise that it's in the works, but no fucking firm date or anything like that. That's how you do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of more.
Outer Wilds 2? Outer Worlds 2?
Outer Worlds 2? Maybe. We got a trailer for that, but that's also an Obsidian joint. And I feel like Avowed's farther ahead. Yeah. And I think Outer Worlds 2 might kind of take away from some of the light on Starfield. Sure. Because they are so similar.
Yep.
So I think we haven't seen State of Decay 3 in a while.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
I forgot
we
about
haven't
State
seen
of Decay.
Yeah, and like the first two games were interesting. I kind of enjoyed those games. We haven't seen 3 since I think it was the Xbox Series X event.
Yeah, I remember they showed State of Decay 2 and 3 at the same event, and I thought that was bonkers.
Yeah, it was something like that. And also, I could be wrong on this, but I think Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is getting a release date.
Yeah, probably. That game's in the can. I think it's ready to roll. They had a lot of gameplay last time. It looked fine. I don't care for that.
I loved it. I loved that first game.
Yeah, it looks creepy as fuck.
It was the first platinum I ever got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft game on your PlayStation?
It was actually, it's funny because Ninja Theory did a deal with PlayStation for it to be a PlayStation timed exclusive.
No shit.
So it was on PlayStation before it was on Xbox, and then Xbox bought Ninja Theory. So
classic.
Yeah. I also think Compulsion Games' next game is going to get shown off. They made We Happy Few.
Oh yeah.
They were bought, I think, in like 2018-ish.
Yep.
We haven't seen anything from them for a while.
I feel there'll definitely be some new IP. I feel like this overall, the last Xbox conference like this, they have the first Xbox Bethesda game showcase basically, was a lot of like, here's what our new teams are working on, and we've basically seen fucking none of that since. So I think there's gonna be less announcements of new games and more like, hey, here's where we are on those games that we showed you last year. But I'm assuming there'll be a couple surprises in there too, because I think that was like, I didn't love the last Xbox Bethesda showcase because it was a lot of like just showing and telling and not so much like doing and playing.
Yeah, and I think something Xbox has an issue with is they've bought all of these studios with all this IP. They want to show it off to bolster their Game Pass numbers, but then when nothing comes out for such a long time, people are like, "All right, where's it at? We've been waiting. Yeah. We've been paying for Game Pass for a year and a half now, and nothing really has come out." So they've got to do something, because I know a lot of people recently have been unhappy about it. Which actually this year, does Xbox even have anything big this year? Not that I know
Starfield
of. There
Redfall.
hasn't been. Yeah, they did. Not anymore.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's a very interesting
December.
I mean, I guess the biggest thing Xbox has had this year is a PlayStation exclusive, GhostWire
Banjo
Tokyo.
3. Do you think we'll ever get it, dude? Just want it so bad.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I think by the time we're old and like in a wheelchair, most of the games that we've wanted to come back will have come back at some point.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, Nintendo. Here's the stipulation with Nintendo. If there's no Nintendo event, it doesn't count if we make a bet. Are you cool with that?
If there's no Nintendo event, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they
sure,
just
that's
don't
fine.
have a direct.
They're not gonna show stuff at Game Fest or Game Fest, are they?
Yeah, I doubt
Yeah.
it. Do you have any predictions for Nintendo-based stuff?
God, I would hope a Silk Song would show up somewhere, and I guess Nintendo might be the best place to show it.
Yeah,
Maybe Game Fest. I don't have anything specific Nintendo, but
I've got a couple. You can feel free to bet against me on one.
Okay.
A Zelda that is not Breath of the Wild 2 will be shown for Switch.
Yeah, I could see that, like a Wind Waker or something on Switch.
I think a Wind Waker or Twilight Princess HD that's been rumored for a long time. They need something for this holiday season. I think Mario Superstars DLC, Mario Party Superstars DLC needs to be shown.
Sure.
And I think it's high time for a fucking Donkey Kong game.
Like a Tropical Freeze follow-up?
Bigger. There's been a long time rumor that the team inside Nintendo, like as first party as it gets at Nintendo of Japan, is working on a 3D. It's the Mario Odyssey team working on a 3D Donkey Kong game. And it's been rumored for like a year now, and there's been no words on it. Nintendo's obviously notoriously tight-lipped, but that's like would shoot to the fucking top of my most anticipated shit. And they just had a nice Kirby 3D outing. They've had a nice Mario 3D outing. It's that last fucking first-party pillar that's missing from the Switch catalog.
Do you think we will see Mario Rabbids Magic Kingdom or whatever it's called?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I bet we'll see that game at Summer Games Fest.
in a Ubisoft presence, since it is a Ubisoft type thing.
Do you want to bet
Speaking
against
of
any of those
Ubisoft
predictions?
No, those are all pretty safe, I think.
Right.
I'm not a Nintendo expert, as you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the Sony guy, so.
What do you want to say about Ubisoft?
New Assassin's Creed game.
Ooh,
They're going to be showing the next Assassin's Creed game. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
It's time. They've gone on a bi-yearly release, and we haven't had anything since 2020.
Yeah, but we already have. It's supposed to be like Assassin's Creed Infinite. It's already been, I think. I don't know if it's like publicly. I don't think it's been like, here's a little teaser for it. I think like at behind the scenes conferences or something like that, they've had some sort of like plan for it where shareholders know that there's some sort of games as a service Assassin's Creed experience coming out.
Infinite.
But I think it's fucked up. I think it's not coming.
Do you want to bet against that? Anything Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I'll bet against that.
Okay. Just to be clear, anything Assassin's Creed at these things is a dub for me. Like, not like Assassin's Creed in Final Fantasy.
No,
like that doesn't count.
This is a stupid bet. I'm taking a stupid bet. All right, I'll take it. I'll take that bet with low stakes. Here are the stakes.
Okay.
If I win, if there is no Assassin's Creed, you cannot say the words Sly Cooper for an entire show. And if I lose,
okay,
you
can't say Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Or Outer Wilds.
Fine. That's pretty good. That's a good wager. I'm going to keep making that wager until I win it.
Okay. I really think it will be the next Assassin's Creed title of some sort.
The thing that worries me when I was saying that this stupid bet is I had heard about, I've heard rumblings of there was like a DLC for Valhalla that got canceled and rolled into like a spin-off. So it's so that they could bide time.
It's a game about Basim.
So it's like it's to tide over because they're gonna delay Infinite another year. And then there'll be some sort of release, but I don't know. Maybe it won't happen.
Which it's really funny because Assassin's Creed is very famous for leaking right before it's released. Like for the past 10 years, everything has leaked Assassin's Creed.
We thought it was going to be. Wait, is it called Ragnarok? No, it's called Valhalla. Because we thought it was going to be Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. And we knew everything about it. We knew everything about Valhalla except the name. We thought it was Assassin's Creed Ragnarok.
Yeah, and then they have a DLC called Dawn of Ragnarok.
Oh yeah. Is that already out?
Yeah, it's been out for a while now.
Nice.
I haven't played it.
Did you play that? I normally don't. Origins and Valhalla had the crossover DLC. That was really cool.
Yeah, Odyssey and Valhalla. I actually downloaded Odyssey to check it out, and I forgot to check it out. Never checked it out. Yeah,
I liked Odyssey a lot.
I did too. I think Origins is my favorite of the newer
Origins is my favorite. Did you see Origins is coming to Game Pass with the 60 frame patch? Yeah.
Yes. Tomorrow, I gotta check that back out.
Mm-hmm. That's something we have to do for next time. When we talk about our looking ahead or things that happened, is talking about the things that hit Game Pass and PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
We'll start figuring that out because that's all about to change in the next couple days.
What else do you have?
I'm out.
Oh, you're out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You were talking about the Netflix game thing that's coming up, which just made me think about Oxenfree 2 because they were bought by Netflix.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see something Oxenfree 2 because I'm pretty sure it's been delayed multiple times. But that studio makes really good games. Oxenfree and After Party were really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
So right now, if you don't have anything else, I don't really either. I'm sure I could come up with more sitting here.
I think they're good predictions.
Yeah. So our bets are Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. If it shows, we have to do a Final Fantasy VII Remake spoil list. If it doesn't show, we have to do a Return of the Obra Dinn spoil list.
Perfect.
Elder Scrolls title revealed. If it is revealed, I have to finish Kingdom Hearts. If it isn't revealed, you have to play Dishonored.
Yes.
Anything AC, if there is something AC, you can't say Breath of the Wild or Outer Wilds for a stream or for one game list.
One game list.
And if it isn't, if nothing AC shows, I can't say mention Sly for a game list.
Yes. Hey, we're going to add an asterisk to that as well.
Okay.
It will be, if that bet is lost, it won't be on, the payout won't be for the episode that it happens, because then one person will be, like, if they announce Sly Cooper and then you can't say Sly Cooper for that episode, we've just fucked ourselves. And then the same deal where if we're like, okay, we'll just do it for the July show, the regular show, and then there's like a big Breath of the Wild 2 trailer that drops, then it'll be pushed to the next time. It'll be you know
how funny that would be if there was a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer and you couldn't say Breath of the Wild the entire time. You just have to like work your way around it.
BOTW. I love BOTW personally.
Yeah, it's more of a, you can't bring it up in analogy to another game.
Yeah.
You know, if we have news to talk about, sure. But if it's like, oh, this game, it reminds me so much of Breath of the Wild, that won't fly. It doesn't fly. I just can't mention Sly at all. So that's going to be the hard part.
That's perfect. Hey, listen, pretty good show.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I think it was, well, actually, I was going to say, Final Fantasy Remake spoil list. So traditionally, I say traditionally, we've only done one spoil list where we played it together on stream. Would we be doing that as well? Because Return to the Obra Dinn, I would like to, because I know it's a shorter experience.
I think maybe what we could do for that would be, have you played Intergrade?
No.
So we could do an Intergrade stream. Since we've both played 7 Remake, I could stream Intergrade and have you on for like, it'll be like 2 sessions. It's like 5 hours long to beat that game 100%.
And I would be happy to buy Intergrade and play it since I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, you could do that as well. And then maybe we would each run through the game separately, but I think both signing up to stream 7 Remake together is a tall order. It's like a 40-hour.
It's a very tall order.
Yeah.
So I think that works. Intergrade is a good way to balance it out.
I think so.
But yeah.
Not bad. All right. That's the end of the show. But first, if you're listening or watching, go follow us on a different platform. Just if you found us on YouTube, go subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, go find Kaulin on Twitch or Jake Twitchin on Twitch or YouTube or somewhere else. Leave us a review, say a nice thing, leave a comment, do the stuff that we want you to do. You know how to support us. We need your support. Things are going pretty well. We got listeners all around the world from weird places. Thank you if you're listening to this and you're not from the United States. We're very happy about that.
You're insulting where they're living?
No.
Weird places?
Commending. I'm insulting the United States listeners. You guys are boring, run-of-the-mill. We're sick of you.
Hey, man, honestly, you could leave a mean comment. It's still a comment. We'll take it.
We just want engagement. You can tell us to fuck right off. You can say Sly Cooper and Breath of the Wild suck. If you're looking for me, I am at Jake Twitchin, like twitching without a G, on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch primarily, streaming most nights there. Kaulin, where can they find you?
At Kaulin _, at KAULINE _. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, other things. They all link together. So just find one, you'll find the other.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff. And we'll see you not in a month. We'll see you in about 2 weeks when we make good on these bets and find out what there is to go over. We'll be giving you our Game of the Year update for our individual game lists, and we'll be talking about everything announced at Summer Games Fest /E3 /the State of Play /the Showcase /the Direct, and whatever else we might announce.
A lot. Very exciting. Hard to keep up with, but I can't wait.
Yes, that's right. Now, Kaulin, end it with your signature sign-off sentence.
See you next time.
Nailed it.
Was that the sentence?
Oh, yeah.
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah. End the show.
Bye, guys.